Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Well, very good evening to you and a warm welcome back to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh. It's session 6, our second day of finals at the 25th anniversary Edinburgh International Swim Meet. I'm Duncan McKinnell and I'm joined in the commentary box by Jack Thorpe, who was with you yesterday evening. Good evening, Jack.
Evening all, thank you very much and thanks for having me, Duncan. Really excited to be back and excited for a another fast evening of racing.
It's going to be a fast evening of racing. I think we've got a fantastic program for you tonight. Of course, we had some absolutely superb swims yesterday. Meet records, British record from Stephen Clegg, and lots of exciting things. Here's the lineup for this evening. So we start off with a good one. Max Litchfield, silver medalist in the World Championships just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely great to see Max back. He's had a few years out of the pool, or sort of out of the eye of the British scene, and I think it was really great to see him back on form, back to his best, and yeah, I think it'll be great to see what he can produce 3 weeks ahead of the trials.
Yeah, 800 freestyle is the first female event. Valentine Leclerc has the fastest entry time, 8:39, and the youngster Phoebe Arbuckle of Warrender will be looking to see if she can get anywhere close to that. We've got 2 sets of skins for you today. We start off with backstroke, and it was another meet record went for Ollie Morgan this morning in the male and open 50 backstroke, so expect more fireworks from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the female side as well, Danielle Hill did a really strong swim. It was a 27.8 this morning. It was an electric swim, again building on some fantastic racing from yesterday evening as well.
Yep, she'll be up beside Kathleen Dawson, the British record holder, so just really trying to come back into form after a very difficult couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what she can do. We follow that then with 100 breaststroke for the men and 100 butterfly for the females. What do you see in those ones, Jack?
Yeah, well, the 100 breaststroke, I think it's going to be a hot contest. I think Archer Goodburn from Edinburgh, and you've got Wilby again coming off a good strong performance in the 200, and 100 butterfly, I think.
And there's a certain Duncan Scott.
Duncan Scott, you're right, actually, yeah. I mean, again, we spoke with Paul yesterday in the stream about the sort of turning his hand to all these events and being able to do all these things. It just shows the depth of an IM medley swimmer being able to do this. That'll be an interesting one to see if you can give Wilby a bit of a go.
2 wins from Duncan yesterday, of course, 200 free, 200 IM. So that's going to be interesting. As you said, the butterfly is going to be good. And men's 200 fly, female 400 IM, I have to mention that. Freya Colbert, world champion, will be going in that. Katie Shanahan will be next to her, so that's going to be a great one. Second set of skins, freestyle for the men, and the females breaststroke with, well, there's going to be some fast ones there. Ang Harrod Evans so close to the British record in the 100 yesterday. And 800 freestyle, and we finish off with another cracker, female 200 freestyle. 3 of the medalists from Doha in the 4x200 go tonight. Lucy Hope, Abby Wood, Meddy Harris will all be there. Katie Shannon also looked sharp this morning.
Yeah, well, again, 400 medalists, some are able to turn their hand to a few things, so yeah, that'll be a good one to watch out for right at the end.
That's what we've got in store for you this evening. I hope you're going to enjoy it. We start off here with the 400 individual medley, male and open event. This is the junior final. There's the lineup for you. James Boddy of Geary goes in lane 1. William Gowler of Borough Stockton in 2. Matthew Scott for Newcastle Swim Team in 3. Logan van der Molen of Stirling Swimming in 4. Thomas Trainer, East Kilbride, will be in 5. Fraser Tetlow, second Geary swimmer, goes in lane 6. Hayden Sterling of Arbroath St Thomas in 7. And Charlie Ward of Borough Stockton in lane 8. Fastest was Logan van der Molen. He's had an absolutely storming meet, Logan. As a very promising 17-year-old.
Yeah, he has indeed. I mean, going off his entry time to the competition of a 4:46.4. He's actually beat that in the heats this morning, so that was an excellent sign of potentially what's to come.
So he has lane 4, as you said, 4:46 dead. About a 2 3/4 faster than anybody else in the pool, because early days coming down the first length, you can't tell too much from what's going on in the fly.
No.
Can you lose it in the fly but not win it? Is that fair?
Well, I think we saw a few events yesterday, individuals, athletes going out maybe potentially a little bit too hard in those first few lengths, particularly in the 400 and the 1500 events that we saw. And again, in an individual medley event, it really does chop and change across, and you can see here sort of the stronger athletes will come through in their preferred strokes, but the breaststroke is really where it's won or lost, in my opinion, and across the board, because it's the slowest stroke. But if you can really take a full advantage of that, and we saw that yesterday, you know, some athletes would have a much stronger butterfly and backstroke leg, and then they'd power through in that breaststroke phase. So again, the way that the individual medley is going now, you really need to be strong across all the strokes. It's really less about a weaker stroke and a slightly just off the mark on the other strokes, I think, is the view.
So the two white caps in the centre lanes both going out nicely. Van der Molen in 4 and Trainer in 5. Up there pretty much with him in the black cap, Matthew Scott of Newcastle. So into the backstroke, and it is Logan Van der Molen's just got the edge. Not by that much.
Yeah, well, it's a really nice long loping stroke that he's got there, nice and relaxed, good body position, head nice and steady. See if he gets a decent amount underwater here again. It's a good few kicks. You don't want to go too far underwater in this event because, again, interesting you see it, but you don't want to lose too much energy if you kind of hold your breath for too long. It can again pay for the race later on in that freestyle leg. So it's all about being as efficient as possible. Take advantage off the walls, but not going too far. Again, it's a war of attrition in these sorts of events, particularly in the 400 medley. Such a brutal event.
I guess it becomes a balancing act, doesn't it, between the power off the wall and the kick off the wall versus getting into your stroke.
Exactly that. So we saw that in the distance events, the more middle distance in yesterday, and we'll see it again today. But breaststroke, again, as we said earlier, could see a bit of a change in the order potentially here, depending on strengths. Maybe a bit of a move being made by Thomas in the lane just above.
Yeah, Thomas Trainer in the second of the golden lanes. He's right up there now with Logan Van der Molen. East Kilbride swimmer, coached by Andy Figgins there. Very well-established program out of the Dolan Baths. Many of the Scots will have spent time in the Dolan Baths. And it is Thomas who's got the lead now. So you see there 39.8 versus Logan's 42.1 for that first 50 of breaststroke. Is that going to be the difference?
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. I mean, it's the slowest stroke, but if you can take that advantage of it, we saw Duncan do it yesterday in the 200. He had a storming leg in that 50 breaststroke of the 200 individual medley, and Thomas again has taken full advantage, taking 2 seconds out of Logan in lane 4, and he's continuing that lead. Nice long stroke, efficient, maximising that glide phase. So on the far lane side, and we'll see what he's got left for this 100 freestyle into the final phase of the race, but he's put himself in a great position here, Duncan.
Yes, he certainly has, but he's a couple of meters clear, 3:37.71. Again, another second picked up on that lead in the second half of the breaststroke, so Logan really has some work to do. It's very much these two now, with Matthew Scott getting some attention from lane 6, Fraser Tetlow in the race for third. Let's see whether Logan Van der Molen can close the gap. I think he is starting to. He definitely is now as we come up to the 350 turn. It's less than a body length in it now. Let's check the pacing. So he's 1.3 faster and he's 1 second back. So we're all set for a cracking finish here, Jack.
We are indeed. He's absolutely powering through the water now. I mean, my goodness, he's really putting all in. It was a 32.2 in that leg there. It was almost a second quicker, and he's really closing in now into the final 15.
What a race to get our evening started. The two of them side by side now. Van der Molen in lane 4, Trainer in lane 5, and if Van der Molen has come back, what a final 100 from the Sterling swimmer. 4:43.31, so well faster than he was in the heats. And remember, that was a best time in the heats, faster than his entry time, so excellent stuff. Thomas Trainer as well. What a great race from him. He'll be disappointed not to have won it, but I'm sure he'll be very pleased when he gets back to his coach as to how that swim was swum.
Oh, absolutely. And again, with an entry time of a 4:46, they've both done considerable drops under there, so you can only assume those are personal best times. So fantastic way to start the evening.
Matthew Scott there taking third, 4:49 for him. That's also some 3 seconds faster than he was in the heats. There's your lineup for the B final, which is next up. Isaac Dodds goes to the University of Bath in lane 1. Théo Malfait of Villefranche, the French team, go in lane 2. Jay Manners of Derwentsside in 3. Then we've got Yannick Weiland of the Netherlands in lane 4. Angus Allison of Stirling University in lane 5. Evan Davidson, 17-year-old from Perth City, goes in 6, and then 2 more from the University of Stirling. Dom Bissett in lane 7, and Pierce Greening in lane 8. So times from this morning's heats, 4:38. Yannick Weiland was the fastest, up to 4:44.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely some capacity for drops here, Duncan. We've got Yannick in the entry sheets of a 4:26 and Angus Allison of a 4:22, so definitely capable of making some drops here. Angus Allison 5th at the British Championships last year and 4th at the Bucks Championships very recently, so we saw him yesterday in the 200, really strong breaststroker in particular, so again we'll see a bit of a chop and change in the field here.
Yeah, I think Angus has had some injury problems this season, so he's possibly has disrupted his training somewhat, but we'll see how he goes in lane 5, so the higher of those golden lanes. But some good starts. Isaac Dodds off to a good start down at the bottom of your screen, and lane 4, Yannick Weiland is also looking good here. He had a good swim in Rotterdam just before Christmas, finishing second there. He represented the Netherlands at European Juniors, was a finalist in this event.
Absolutely, and we speak about easy speed. Again, you think about the 400 individual medley, it's such a long event. If you can make that 100 butterfly as easy as possible, it sounds a bit contradictory to say, Duncan, to say make 100 butterfly easy, but you want to be as relaxed as possible, get yourself in a good position and try not to give away too much energy. So it's all about efficiency, particularly around these walls where you can really take advantage and make or lose time.
So 1:00.64, Weiland leads them through. Half a second behind him is Angus Allison. You can see him in the second black cap, still going well at the bottom of your screen, Isaac Dodds. So he's having a good start to this race from the outside lane. I would say if you've got a lane, you've got a chance.
Absolutely, and Theo just as lane above as well, looking in a decent position. I think for third place, it's still all to play for. I think even the top 2, top 3, it's looking like a good contest. Again, we've got the breaststroke leg coming up, and I think things will shift around. But as it stands, it is Yannick. Again, holding form. Pulling away, actually. He's, again, good long loping stroke, relaxed leg kick. Good head position, again, he's taking full advantage. Not giving away too much. Again, you want to hold back as much as you can, particularly for the freestyle leg. And we spoke about going to your legs too early. You want to be as efficient as possible and have enough to give in that sprint finish down the last 50.
So halfway mark into breaststroke to 11:39. Is it Dodds still holding on to second? 2:12.63, just 400ths ahead of Angus Allison. And you talked about Angus's breaststroke, so we'll see what happens there. Theo Malfay, Theo Franche, another youngster, just 17, is going nicely in lane 2. So he's up contending for second, third and fourth now, 3 of them, but well, they've got some work to do to catch Yannick now. He looks like he's pulling away.
Yeah, well, and Isaac Dodds still right in the race. Again, a good strong breaststroker, capable of a 4:26 on the start sheet. So again, he's right in contention, as is Theo just coming through. Theo in an excellent position, the youngster from France, 16th at the French Nationals. Again, he's having an excellent swim. But it is Yannick stretching away now, really long gliding phase, maximising that distance, really efficient. He's putting himself in a domineering position for this final 100.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now you get a shot of him front on to just see a bit more of his technique. And coming up to the 300, he's surely put himself into, well, I hesitate to say it, but it looks like an unbeatable position here. 3:26.20, and you can see there 37.5 for his second half of the breaststroke against 38.9 for Angus Allison, who in turn has opened up a bit of a gap on what looks like now a race between Theo Malfay and Jay Manners, who's had a good breaststroke, moving up in the battle for third now. But it is Weiland, the Dutchman, who is all set for this one. So 4:38 this morning, came into this on a 4:25. Just said he did in Rotterdam. It looks like he's going to be around the 4:30 mark, maybe slightly under that. Certainly going to take this B final comfortably. Angus Allison will have to settle for second, and we've got a great race going on for third. Pierce Greening up at the top of your screen has appeared from nowhere to take part in that contest. But here they come. Violent into the final 5, and it's inside the 4:30, 4:29.52. Nicely done. 9 seconds faster than he was in the heats.
Great sprint finish there from Teal, just stretching in, getting 3rd place. I mean, Jay Manners had a heroic breaststroke leg there to bring himself right back into contention, as did Pierce Greening in the 100 freestyle, but Teal just takes the edge. Again, all about that finish, Duncan, stretching out. It's all about the skills, particularly in those last 5 metres.
So at the end of a fairly long race like that, you think, well, the finish surely isn't going to make that much difference over 4.5 minutes of swimming, but, well,
just goes to show that was the difference between a 3rd and a 4th.
Yeah.
Again.
So they're coming out for the Superfinal now, and there's the first of them, Andrew Bertoli from the University of Stirling. Lane 2, his teammate George Smith. Lane 3, Charlie Hutchison from Loughborough Performance Centre. He's giving us the wave there, and now Max Litchfield, World Championship silver medalist, and out he comes. Oh, he looks like he is in the mood for it. Lane 5 from the Netherlands, another one looking very serious, Thomas Janssen. Tony Joe, Tret Oliver looking Mr. Cool, coming out into lane 6, representing University of Stirling. His teammate Evan Jones goes to lane 7, and completing the field there is Sam Williamson from the University of Bath. He will go into lane 8. So there's your lineup, confirming that. Max Litchfield, exciting to see what he can produce after that brilliant swim in Doha. 4:10 he did there.
Yeah, it was absolutely excellent swim. Again, like we said at the start, it's brilliant to see Max right back on form. It's been a few challenging years just past, but again, think about this competition, the position of it in the calendar. He'll want a strong performance here, but again, with taper to come, I don't think we'll be seeing him challenge that 4:10, but I think, again, a comfortable drop from this morning's performance of a 4:25. I think we're in for a good, solid performance here. He'll want to put himself in a great position moving into trials in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, but he'll consider he's got some unfinished business in Olympic terms, doesn't he? Because he's so close a number of times to medaling in the Olympics, and he'll think probably Paris could be the time.
Absolutely. I mean, with a 4:10, you'll put yourself right in contention with the best in the world, and, well, as he did at World Championships, and if you can back that up and keep that form going in a race like this, it's all about tactics, execution, keeping together your race plan, and really dialing in these final tweaks, the final 1%, as we say.
So off they go. We've got some other real stars as well. Thomas Janssen, he will be a threat. He won this event last year, and he was 12th in the 2023 World Championships representing the Netherlands. So he is up there as one of the best in the world, and he goes in lane 5. Charlie Hutchison, the Scot based in Loughborough. This is very much his event, so expect some good things from him as well. Evan Jones, likewise, based in Stirling. Very strong 400 IMer, but it's Litchfield, narrowly, and very helpfully for us. He's in the red cap, and pretty much everyone around him is in the black, so it's easy to spot Max. Evan Jones is having a storming start in lane 7.
Absolutely, had a great performance in the 200 freestyle last night, Evan Jones, on a 1:49, and again a really solid performance in the 2 IM. Evan's a great prospect coming through. Scottish contingent, had a great breakthrough meet in Birmingham, and again is really solidifying himself in that British roster. But at the moment it very much is the Max show. He's stretching away, looking very relaxed, very comfortable in these sort of early to middle stages of the race. Very good backstroker, looking again in a good position there, Duncan.
He has always been a great backstroker, Max, and well, it's a Litchfield trait, I think, Joe as well, being an excellent backstroker, but it's Max in the water at the moment, and you see that 32.7, Hutchison 33.8, Jones 34.1, so you can see the class of Max Litchfield here, and, well, has he got a weakness? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, it's at this level, the top level world class, it's less about a weak stroke, it's just your stroke is maybe just off world standard, essentially. Even if we look Duncan Scott later in the evening doing the 100 breaststroke, it just shows what these guys can turn themselves to. It's the depth of an IM swimmer, a medley swimmer. You really are capable across all the strokes to a very high standard, and now move into the breaststroke phase. Again,
So
looking very comfortable here for Max.
Max then is 4.5 seconds faster than he was at the same stage in the heat, so he's clearly taking this quite seriously. Charlie Hutchison is having a good race here. He's comfortably into second place. Wonder if Jansen will challenge him in the second half. Up there with Thomas Jansen is still Evan Jones after that strong early phase of the race for him. But it's Litchfield 36.4 is split there, so a little bit faster than the two behind him. Hutchison 36.6, Jansen 36.7. So there we see him. See him taking in those big breaths in between the strokes.
Yeah, looking really comfortable, but I think for third place, Evan Jones is a really strong freestyle, like we said, so we've got that 100 to come, and he's still holding on and is in a good position. So I think the battle for second and third respectively still wide open at the moment, but it is Max really extending his lead, looking really strong here as he moves into the freestyle phase, closely followed by Charlie Hutchison and Thomas Jansen. And George Smith has had a storming breaststroke leg there, pulling himself into fourth position.
Well, we know George is a great breaststroker, silver medal second in the 200 breaststroke last night. But this is Max now. The meet record is a Duncan Scott record, 4:15.44. We'll get a sense, I think, as to where Max is against that on this turn, 3:44. So, that could be on, I think. We could be starting with a meet record here if Max can pick it up down this last length. Meanwhile, the race for second, Hutchison just about holding on from Thomas Jansen. That one looks like it's going to go to Hutchison, but on the left of your screen there's only one winner, and that is Max Litchfield coming into the final 5 meters. The clock going into the 4:10s. That meet record, 4:15.44, has gone. 4:13.56. Max Litchfield takes a new meet record, our second of the day. Charlie Hutchison, nice swim from him, 4:19. I think he'll be pretty happy with that. Came into the meet with a best time of 4:17, so to be within a couple of seconds of that in this time in the season, I think he'll be pretty pleased. Thomas Jansen at 4:22 in third. Oh, Max being a bit inscrutable there, no grins.
Well, that was a very serious swim and a very serious time, wasn't it, Duncan? I mean, my goodness, a 4:13, fresh off the back of a World Championship performance of a 4:10. He's put himself in a absolutely brilliant position for 3 weeks' time. He'll be riding on a wave of confidence there, I think, knowing that he's more than capable of a big drop when taper comes in a few weeks' time, very soon. So it's a great preparation swim overall, and like you said, I think Charlie will be very happy with that. Dipping under that 4:20 into the teens is always a significant barrier to drop into in the 400 IM. Great way to start the evening's finals.
Yeah, so we saw an absolute humdinger junior final, then we've seen a meet record in the Superfinals. So yeah, all good stuff. And we move on to our next event, and that is the fastest heat of the female 800 freestyle. So here they come. Lane 1, Alice Forrest from Derwent Side. In lane 2, Ella Smith from the Borough of Stockton. Lane 3, Murray Craig of Edinburgh University. She's having a good season. In lane 4, from Ligue Auvergne in France, Valentine Leclerc. In lane 5, the youngster from Warrender, Phoebe Arbuckle. She's another one having a cracking season, taking times off. Another youngster, 17-year-old Georgia Dickey from Dumfries. Dumfries producing some really good distance freestylers at the moment. And talking of youngsters, keep your eye on this young lady, Evie Mackey of Lanark, another star in the making. And Katie Noble, who's had some good swims this weekend. She swims for Newcastle in lane 8.
Yeah, well, a few of the usual suspects from the 400 freestyle yesterday. So a few of these ladies performed there, did very well. A lot of them on sort of season best times, close to personal best times. Yeah, again, Phoebe Arbuckle coming fresh off Geneva, third place performance, and Valentine Leclerc, fourth at the French Nationals. Again, it's good solid performances in the last 6 months or so.
You would think Valentine will be the favourite here. Experienced French swimmer, 19-year-old.
Yeah, it'd be great if Phoebe could give her a bit of a challenge, even if it's just the experience. A 16-year-old from Warner.
Yes. So off they go. 16 lengths of the pool to negotiate. Pushing on very hard in lane 1 is the 15-year-old from Derwent side, Alice Forrest.
Well, already we can see the difference in technique here, Duncan, compared to Valentine and the rest. I mean, Valentine, long, loping stroke, no real leg kick at all, and you look to her teammates on either side and they're already going to their legs actually quite significantly. And you think about the length of a race in the 800, you really want to be preserving those legs as much as possible. We've seen a lot of the distance athletes, both male and female, fresh off of Doha, and the technique, the style these days is very much focused on a long, loping freestyle stroke, really maximising that range and rhythm and keeping the legs just relaxed, keeping the body position high in the water, as you see Valentine doing there, and again, putting yourself in a good position, nice and stretched, you know, really maximising the distance for every stroke. And again, you think how long and how far these races are. The 800 metres really makes a big difference, particularly for the second half. It's a war of attrition, very much so, and you want to be splitting as evenly as possible, Duncan, from the first 400 to the second, the way this 800 is swum on the world-class stage.
So it is narrowly Valentine Leclerc in that pale blue cap in lane 4, but still Alice Forrest is really having a good start, the Derwent side swimmer. She was silver medalist in the British Summer Championships for her age group last year, so she's no mug around an 800 event, 15 this year, so another very promising youngster. Her and Evie Mackey are the two youngest, well in fact 3 of them, because Ella Smith as well. Then we've got 2 16-year-olds, and it's the oldies of the field, Valentine and Mari Craig, 20, and you're the oldest.
Yeah, I mean 19 and 20, to think they're the oldest in the field just shows you the sort of the depth of the junior ranks at the moment. Again, it's great to see them coming through. It's one of these events that aren't as well fielded in the senior level across GB at the moment. There's a few of the usual suspects, but it's great to see some younger athletes really coming through, and it'd be great if they can build on, take advantage of these experiences. Again, Edinburgh International is a great platform to really expose yourself to that top class European field, and again, it's just putting yourself in that position, the race tactics, executing, and Phoebe's doing a great job there holding on. She's just out of shot there in the feet of Valentine, and she's still in a really comfortable position here. She's got into her stroke, got into her stride, less leg kick, which is good to see, looking comfortable.
Yep, so 250, Valentine 34.0, so she is faster than any of the others. Phoebe Buckle, second fastest there, just in behind by 3/10 on Alice Forrest, who's continuing to go really well from lane 1. Then just behind them, Murray Craig in the black cap of Edinburgh University in lane 3. So these 4 just getting away a bit from Evie Mackey and Katie Noble up at the top of your screen. And Valentine just gradually building up this lead. This is 300 metres.
Yeah, Mary Craig had a good, strong performance in the 400 yesterday, and again we saw Valentine and Phoebe in the 400. So we know these athletes are on form. They're in good position. They're put together a really good swim in that 400, and now backing it up. The 800 is a tough event because it's obviously not as long as the 15, so you can't quite relax as much as the 1500. So you do need to kind of keep your pacing in mind, and again, it's more of a phased race. Do you break it down into 4 200s? Is it two 400s? Again, there's different tactics and approaches to this, but I think we will see potentially a shift in momentum here, a shift in tactics as we move into the second half of the race.
I sometimes think of it as a 2, then a 4, then a 2. So you focusing on that first 200 to get yourself in a good position. You've got that middle phase of the race where you've got to just hold it and maintain it, and then you've got to build to a crescendo in that final 2.
Absolutely. I mean, we see, like we said, that the top class athletes, they will try and almost negative split the event, you know, going faster in that second half. If you can be a comfortable, easy speed, get yourself in a good position, which these ladies have done in this first 400, and it's exciting to see a bit of a challenge for second and third still, with Mary Craig actually pulling through into third place now, just edging ahead of Alice Forrest. So it's looking like a 1-2-3 currently, but second and third are still very much up for grabs at the moment. with Valentine just stretching away slightly now, taking advantage of the early distance that she established in that first 400, and she is somewhat stretching ahead, a couple tenths quicker than Phoebe in that last 50.
Yeah, and it's just a gradual thing, isn't it? If you're a couple of tenths faster in every length you do, then that will grow into a meaningful lead. And you can see there it's more than a couple of tenths. It's about 7 tenths now over Phoebe Arbuckle, and she's got half a second now on Mari Craig. There's just Alice Forrest perhaps paying from that fast early start, is losing behind the second and third place swimmers. So looks like, well, hard to see now past Leclerc to take this one. And there's an Edinburgh derby, Warrender versus Edinburgh University for second. 5:35.42. So sticking very much around the 67s for Valentine.
Yeah, well, it's just per 50. She's just taking chunks off, half a second here, 0.7 there, and it's a definite momentum shift in her pacing from Valentine in this second 400, as we potentially anticipated. There's been a shift in her tactics there. So this again is a 200 approach, as she's splitting into the, as we see, the 200, 400, 200 more traditional view on things. But Mari Craig in a great position, actually moving into potentially second, but it's still a great battle for that second and third between the youngster of Phoebe Arbuckle and Mari Craig, just slightly older again. It's, I think, saying slightly older, 19 or 20, but that is the depth of the field currently. It's a very young field, but I think again there's still enough experience. So these athletes will have raced all season. They'll have plenty of races under their belt, so they'll know exactly what they're doing, and they'll have spoke to their coaches before. They'll know, stick to your race, stick to your lane. But in this event, you can't help but look around. You will be looking around. As we see there, Mari Craig breathing to both sides. There's a bit of a bilateral combination to the left and right. A bit more untraditional, but you do see that in the distance events, Duncan, taking advantage of that, looking around. It's part of the tactics, pulling yourself into a good position, and that helps with the race. You can really thrive off that and push yourself along, and I'm sure Phoebe and Mari Craig are doing exactly that.
So Valentine just breathing to her right at the moment, so I don't know whether she's been breathing to her right the whole way through. Of course, when she turns, she'll see from the other side and she'll know what's going on that side.
A slight breathe to the right and then left there. Yeah. Double breath again. You won't see much of a distance off the walls here from these ladies. Again, we spoke about that in the medley events. There's only going to be a few kicks and they pop straight up, because again, you don't want to be spending too much time underwater, because that lactic acid will build very quickly if you spend too much time underwater. And again, the legs are still looking quite relaxed, but a bit of a move there from Mari Craig, actually going to her legs slightly here. I think she's really solidifying that second place position as they come in to the final 100. So a bit of an early shift in pace from Mari Craig to try and challenge for that second place position. But as it stands currently, Valentine is stretching away, dropping slightly tenths, a couple tenths more. Again, she's pushing hard here, but it's going to be a hot battle here for second and third if Phoebe can push a bit down this last 100.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Valentine fourth France in the European Juniors last year. That's where she did her 8:39. She's not going to match that here. I think we're looking at low 8:50s for her. Mari Craig, I think, has pretty much got second place under her belt now. With Phoebe Arbuckle, she'll be the leading junior swimmer. So it was good performance from her. But Valentine on her way home now. Well, maybe there could be a late push from Phoebe here to have a go at Mari, but, well, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I think Mari did a great job with about 150 meters to go. She just she went early, a wee bit more untraditionally. You'd think you'd wait to the bell that last 100, but she's pushed now, and she's really solidified that second place. But it's Valentine that comes in an 8:55. Great to drop below that 9-minute barrier, and as we see Mari Craig coming into the wall, a nice sprint finish, 32.9 coming down the last leg, and 9:03.
That's inside her entry time.
Is indeed. So it's potentially a personal best time there. That's an excellence from there. And Phoebe Arbuckle
just behind her, 9:05. Alice Forrest. So she hung on there. She came in on a 9:12 to go down to 9:09. She'll be happy with that. Evie Mackey 9:16. Katie Noble 9:20. Both then just a little bit away from their entry times. Then Georgia Dickey and Ella Smith completes the lineup. So Good quality 800 freestyle there.
Yeah, it's always great to dip under that barrier, and it's a very solid performance. So now we move on from one of the longest events right down to the shortest. Duncan, we've got the first of our skins renditions. So we'll have the men's 50 backstroke and the female 50 backstroke. But before that, we'll have the two junior finals respectively for the men and women, because we alternate, so they'll match that pattern for the skins.
Yep, and the B finals as well. So first up, there they are, the male and open 50 backstroke junior finalists. And just out of your shot, just see is coming into it a little bit of him. It's Callum Peebles from East Lothian. Robbie Boyd in the red of Warrender in lane 2. Bryden Byrne goes for Swim Ireland in 3. Lucas Brown, Stirling University in 4. Logan van der Meulen back. Stirling swimming in lane 5. That's a tough ask to do this after the 400 IM. Rhys Blackett of Newcastle in 6. Ben Hartridge of Morpeth in 7. And Nikolai Cisnet, the 14-year-old from City of Glasgow, in lane 8.
Well, I think there might have been enough time for Logan to recover. I think there's been enough time, bit of a swim down, shake off a bit, and sometimes actually it can be a bit of a priming mechanism. If you have a race that's far enough away from your second outing, it can actually be an advantage in your preparation overall if you can get the recovery right from that first
So
race.
the lactic will be gone?
Potentially, if he's done the right swim down, if he's done enough recovery in between, he should have brought it down and keep it at that nice primed level. Again, we look for a lactate of around 3 to 4 if it can be measured, but it's, again, you don't want to be going in cold to any of this. The athletes will be warm, they've done enough prep, whether it's land stuff in the pool, so the athletes will be, getting the heart rate up, they'll be sweating a bit, hopefully being kept warm before. See what Logan can produce, and the rest of the fields are going in fresh.
So there was just 600s between Lucas Brown and Logan van der Meulen in the heats, 27.42 and 27.48. So let's see how this one works out in practice. We've got others in the 27s, most of the field in fact. So it could come from anywhere. It is a good start from Lucas Brown though in lane 4, and also pushing on Rhys Blackett of Newcastle in lane 6. Those two are the first to show as they go past those 50-metre markers. Is it going to be Brown in lane 4? I think it might be. He is going to take this pretty impressively, 26.82. So that was a good strong swim there.
Yeah, significant drop there, Duncan, from the heat performance of a 27.4, so a big old drop, and Logan really mistimed his finish there, unfortunately, but great swim from Bryden and Rhys respectively to get second and third. Again, slight dips from their morning performances, so it's good to back up some fast heats into some fast finals and get those good positions. And then we move on to fast and furiously to the women's 50-metre backstroke junior final.
And as your lineup, Charlotte Williams of Hatfield, Maria Howe, University of Aberdeen, Melissa Mainwaring in lane 3 for West Lothian, Katie Rose of Warrender in 4, Falca Tind, Hovid Statens in 5, Emma Wood of City of Leeds in 6, Eddie Armstrong of East Lothian in 7, and Grace Noonan of Mulgai and Bearsden in lane 8. Again, very tight between the front runners from their heat times. Katie Rose 30.56, Falca Tind 30.59, Melissa Mainwaring 30.65. And this, would you want to use all of that 15 that's available to you and the start on a 50 back?
Oh, I think so. If you can take advantage of those walls, particularly in the short events, you really want to be maximising that distance and coming right up on the 15, which most of them are not far off from, but it's the centre lanes now blistering through. It is Katie Moss just holding on potentially with a late challenge in lane 5 from Falca Tind, who's going to get it in the touch very close in the end. And it is Falca Tind. That was a great final 10 metres there, pulling through and stretching right on the finish. We see that lunge there, Duncan, taking full stretched advantage. And it all comes down to the finish, particularly in these short 50-metre events. Good drops there from heat to final. Yeah,
Emma Wood got a great start there and was able to use that to hold on with a good finish to take second, just touching out Katie Rose into third place. One of the great things, particularly for these juniors, is their opportunity to swim against people you've probably never swum against before, and it just creates that unknown factor, which I think has to help their swimming development.
Absolutely. You want to be racing as much as possible and racing different people, getting different experiences, and again, if you know who you're racing against, you know their tactics too much. That's what's great about this event, particularly for the juniors, getting that experience and that exposure. And move on to the B final of the 50 backstroke for men.
Yep, so the lineup here: Archie Evans, University of Bath; George Whittle of Derby Excel; Robert Burgess, Edinburgh University; Dean Fern of Aberdeen Dolphin; Angel Exposito from Villefranche; Jay de Vries of Netherlands; Philippos Jacovidis from Nicosia; and Lewis Maxwell from Derwentsside. George Whittle off to a good start. We've got the very promising Dean Fern, 16-year-old, in the centre lanes, and it's Esposito that just takes it by 126.57. Dean Fern, the Scottish junior record, and he wasn't far away from that junior record, just 14 hundredths away. So good stuff from him. And Iacovidis from Nicosia in Cyprus takes the 36.70, but it's Esposito takes the men and open B final.
Yeah, that was a great swim there from Dean. I mean, he's sprint specialist. A wee bit more unusual at such a young age of 16, but he's really turns his hand to all of the sprint disciplines really out with breaststroke. So it's, again, we saw a strong 50 fly yesterday, backed up with a good 50 backstroke, and now we go back down to the other end for the B final of the women's 50 backstroke.
So line up here: Charlie Joyce, University of Bath; Caitlin Ebbage, Stirling University; Anastasia Obaniak from Thionvilleroy; Melona Trompette, League of Verne; Lottie Cullen from Swim Ireland; Manon Domignon, League of Verne; Lola Malay from Thionvilleroy; and Libby Freeman of Morpeth. So big French influence on this one, but it's Lottie Cullen. What a start she had in lane 5, and she is well away here. Lottie looking very, very strong indeed.
Yeah, it was an electric first 15 there, Duncan. Really absolutely flying off the wall, and she's holding it all the way through. Bit of a late challenge from lane 4 coming through, but she's really holding herself, and my goodness, that was a great performance. Big drop from the morning heats there, and significant drop overall for a lot of the athletes in that field. That was a brilliant swim, held first from start to finish, and there we go, fast and furious. And now we'll go back down to the
First of our skins, and them getting themselves already all psyched up. They will come out together, male and open, and the females just being introduced to our capacity crowd here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. So leading out for the men into lane 1, Lucas Dan Bremner from Hovedstatens, and for the females, Molly Garrett from City of Manchester. The lane 2 swimmers, Jamie Robertson from Stirling University, and Florence Tinsley, also from Stirling University. Jamie Ferguson, University of Aberdeen, for the men, goes into lane 3 with Maria Godden for Swim Ireland. For the females, Ollie Morgan broke that meet record this morning from University of Birmingham, and Danielle Hill, who was also really fast this morning, going for Swim Ireland. Lane 5, Scott Gibson, the Scottish record holder, and Kathleen Dawson, the British record holder, go to lane 5 in their respective events. Then we got John Shaw, a superstar in the making from Ireland, and Lottie Hosper, experienced swimmer from the Netherlands. They're the swimmers in lane 6. Lucas Dalal of Villefranche in lane 7, along with Neve Ward from the University of Bath, and Jack Skerry goes to the University of Bath to lane 8, and Yasmin Hamelin for the Edinburgh University, she goes into lane 8 in the female event. So if you were watching yesterday, you'll know how this works. We've got 8 swimmers. They'll go as a standard start in the first round. That will be in itself an important one, because that will be the times that can go forward into rankings. But we will drop 4 swimmers, and the second round will be the fastest 4. We'll drop another 2, and in the third round it will be a head-to-head in lanes 4 and 5 to see who wins. So the first round here, watch out for the time for Ollie Morgan, 25.24, new meet record this morning.
Yeah, he's been on great form, brilliant 100 metre yesterday, backed up a really fast heat with an even faster final, dropping into that 53 point, an excellent swim, really high class standard, and let's see what he can do tonight. All guns blazing down this 50. Look out for Scott Gibson, got an electric first 15 as well. Personal best of a 24.8, Scottish record, so we'll see if he can get a wee bit closer to that. But here we go, and it's Oliver Morgan just with the edge in that first 15. Also an electric start there from lane 3. But it is the centre lanes coming down to the final 15, Duncan.
Yeah, lane 8, Jack Skerry going well as well, but Ollie Morgan starting to take control now in lane 4, University of Birmingham swimmer. He's certainly going to take this. Just keep your eye on the clock. 24.95. That further improves the meet record. So fantastic stuff. They can only pick up the meet record in the first round on the standard start. 25.52 for Scott Gibson, so he'll go through. Jamie Ferguson will as well, and Jack Skerry will be 4th qualifier from lane 8, so that was a good effort from him. We lose Dan Brenner, we lose Robertson, we lose John Short, and we lose Lucas Delal.
Yeah, so there'll be a 3-minute clock for the next 50. So the men have a few minutes to recover before their next 50, but we're back down for the women's first leg.
So a reminder, Garrett, Tinsley, Godden, Hill, Dawson, Hosper, Ward and Hammerlane. 27.88, 27.89 Hill and Dawson this morning. 27.79 the meet record, so it's not far away.
Yeah, well, Daniel Hill over a second ahead of the rest of the field in this morning's swim, so let's see if she can back that up with 27.8 and a very, very quick heat this morning. But Kathleen Dawson, you know, she's still thereabouts. An excellent first 15 for the two of them, and she's challenging Danielle Hill here as they come down to these final closing phases. Rotation really high, getting us right up as we get into the final 10 metres. It is looking like Hill as they come into the wall. It's a close challenge though from Kathleen in the end. Oh, just it's a great finish and great drop there for Kathleen Dawson, very close to that 27 point, and Danielle Hill backing up a strong heat performance just outside her time from this morning. Big drop there for Kathleen, and those two are comfortably through to the second leg, Duncan.
Yeah, along with Niamh Ward and Florence Tinsley. So we say goodbye to Molly Garrett and Maria Godden, Lottie Hosper and Yasmin Hammerlane.
Now we're back down to the men. We're down to the final 4. Jamie Ferguson, Oliver Morgan, Scott Gibson and Jack Skerry. And they're keeping their lanes that they swam in from the first. So Jack Skerry out there by himself in lane 8 did a great job to get that 4th spot. So the athletes will hear a warning whistle, and that will be 10 seconds, and then they will receive the go. So there will be no take your marks here, so they will need to react and make their own judgment. So there's the warning whistle, and the next signal will be go.
I guess the danger is going up into your start position too early and holding that for too long.
I
But
think they all did there potentially, but that's a great start there from Oliver Morgan. Electric off the wall. Full advantage of those 15 metres, and it's Oliver Morgan at the moment for that first place position, but up for grabs. Potentially Jack Skerry there in lane 8. Scott Gibson got his work to do, but Jamie Ferguson still right in contention. It's looking potentially Jamie Ferguson, Scott Gibson. Now I think it will be those top 3 and Jack Skerry doing a great job there, but it's the top 2 is Oliver Morgan, Scott Gibson, who will progress into the final stage. Jamie Ferguson was looking in contention there, Duncan, for that top 2, but just slipping away, and Scott Gibson held his form into the final 15 there, did what he needed to do.
So 26.04, so about a second slower than they were, and part of that is because they just don't have that opportunity for a fast start, but also you've got to save yourself for this final head-to-head. So here go the 4 females. Tinsley in 2, Hill in 4, Dawson in 5, Ward in 7.
Yeah, again, we saw the men maybe go up into the start position potentially a bit early, a bit prematurely there. I think all of them were up a wee bit soon. So when you hear that whistle, it will be 10 seconds. So again, you'll be counting in your head here.
There's the whistle.
So let's see what the ladies do. Taking a wee bit longer here.
Yeah, sort of going, up they go.
Very well timed from lane 2 there.
Yeah, Tinsley there. But it's Hill and Dawson in the centre lanes. You'd think they will be the 2 favourites to go through into the 3rd round. And once again, Danielle Hill just edging it. But Dawson is right there. Kathleen pushing all the way here. And this also becomes a bit of an endurance effort at this stage. It's not a 50 so much as a staggered, longer event. And it's Danielle Hill, I think, will she? I'm not sure. And I think it's Dawson comes through first. No?
just outside. That was a really storming finish there for Kathleen, but Daniel Hill potentially easing off a bit there. Duncan again,
Yeah.
I think she did what she needed to do to get that top 2 position, and the skins renditions now are only 350s, but they used to be 5 back in the day.
Back when you did it, they were tough, eh, Jack?
I know, these athletes are getting off lightly with only 350s. Back when we had to do 5, that was something else. You'd be lactate through the roof, and the lactate will be through the roof here. Athletes, you know, need to be keeping the legs moving as much as possible. The times, obviously, they're naturally going to be slower here because you're battling that fatigue, but potentially the favourite here is going to be Morgan, looking at his form in the first 2, but I'm sure Scott will give him a right good battle.
Yeah, he'll have the local crowd behind him. The Edinburgh University man against the swimmer from Birmingham University. What a breakthrough season Oliver Morgan had last year. 3 out of 3 British champions in the 3 backstroke events. And is he going to take the Edinburgh International skins crown? Having already taken the meet record twice. So he's now had 4 meet records, 2 in the 100, 2 in the 50. And he's certainly first off into the swim here. See whether Gibson can find something in the second half of this, but it looks like Morgan has about a meter's advantage, and that is starting to stretch away now. So, well, this is done and dusted. Ollie Morgan, another brilliant swim, 26.23, so a great trio of swims from the Birmingham University man. He takes it, and really, well, it was so deserved. So consistent across the 3 rounds.
Yeah, and again, having that background of the 100 and the 200. Again, Scott's more of a 50 specialist that comes up to the 100. So again, I think Ollie Morgan showing his depth there across in that final 50. This event in skins being a bit more favoured for the 100 or 200 athletes.
So this is going to be interesting, I think, here, because Hill a bit the same. She's very much a sprint specialist, and Dawson has shown in the past that she can do it across multiple distances.
Yeah, well, I think, did Danielle ease off there? We're not sure. Did Kathleen come back? It's hard to tell, but I think they're both looking in great form and dropping in below 30 in both their first and second 50s is a great performance. Real world-class swimming we're seeing here, and both electric off the start. Kathleen and Danielle, they go really far distance underwater, so we'll see what they've got left in the tank in this final 50.
And they were both up quite early there, so we'll see how they go. I guess if one goes up, the tendency is you want to go, you don't want to be caught out. So here we go, our last backstroke skins, and there's not much to choose between them. It does look like Kathleen Dawson has the advantage in lane 5. She's clearly got the advantage now, 15 to go. She's up by about a metre, but Hill is starting to come back now. Hill is definitely coming back in the final stages. Can she come through? Well, it's going to be on the touch. Who gets it? Oh!
What a finish.
Danielle Hill.
What a finish that was, Duncan. My goodness, stretched right into the wall. Your money would have been on Kathleen right up into that final metre there. My goodness, what a stretch there from Danielle. Speak about the finish, Kathleen looking a little bit frustrated there at the end, but you know, very cheery overall. I think she might be a bit annoyed she let that slip there, but what a finish from Danielle Hill. That was a full stretch, full taking advantage of that. Again, we talk about the skills, we talk about the finishes. It goes to show it's really at the world class, and that was an exceptional round of skins.
Yeah, from both the men and the women. They're both fantastic skins events there. So congratulations, Oliver Morgan and Danielle Hill, our backstroke skins champions. Brilliant stuff. So on to 100 breaststroke now. This is the lineup for the junior final. Gregor Ross from City of Glasgow in lane 1. David Smith of Glenrothes in 2. Royce Kringellis, City of Glasgow in 3. Connor Mitchell for Warrender in 4. Johnny Martin of Perth City in 5. Luke Janssen of Warrender in 6. Rory Webster of Dumfries in 7. And William Morris from Borough Stockton in lane 8. So just taking a little while because Scott's got to move to the other end of the pool as far as the start's concerned. So there's always just a little hiatus after a 50.
Yeah, all the judges need to make their way down and make sure everything's in place, but looks like we're quickly underway. Slick operation here at the Edinburgh International. 25th rendition, Duncan. I think they'll be used to it by now.
Yeah, we've had plenty of practice. Probably a slightly different cast of characters from in 1999.
Yeah, more than likely. I don't think any of these athletes definitely won't have been born. Even in the senior final, some of the athletes won't have been born.
Yeah, good number of them. So here we go. Fastest in the heats was Connor Mitchell, the local boy from Warrender, trains in this pool. Good start in lane 3 from Royce Krangalis. He's another who's having a good meet. So these two do look to have a slight advantage here.
Yeah, Royce looking stretching out there. Had a good performance in the 200 medley yesterday. Actually, it was in good contention, but it is coming through in lane 4 of Connor Mitchell, just out in front there, closely followed by Royce and Johnny Martin. Again, Connor Mitchell 30.6. That was a very strong, powerful first 50. Again, the pedigree in the background of Warner breaststrokers is very high, and he's carrying that through. But yeah, it's not out of contention yet, with a late challenge coming from Royce into the final 25.
Yeah, all the way back to David Wilkie in the breaststroke from Warrender. Connor, with big footsteps to step into, is doing his club proud here, and he is going to take this one, taking a victory over the Glaswegian. That's always nice for an Edinburgh swimmer. 1:05.74. Connor takes the win. That's inside his heat time by over half a second.
Yeah, big drops across the board there from heat to finals. Always good to see, backing up some good heat swims, and again taking a step forward. It's always really important to make sure you can make drops in the finals when it matters most, to get those good positions and really maximise the occasion. So move on to the B final of the 100 breaststroke, not the 50 breaststroke.
Yeah, I hope they know that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they won't
So
make
the
the same
lineup.
silly mistake.
Christian Ryan of University of Bath in 1, Callum Melville, Stirling University in 2. Also from Stirling Uni, Rafe Dobson in 3, Owen Corby, Swim Ireland in 4, Eugene Cook, his Irish rival, from Edinburgh University in lane 5, and George Smith, Stirling University, Alex Mayer of Stirling University, and another Irishman, Liam O'Connor, goes in lane 8. 63s to 65s, the times from the heats today. Corby and Cook have been head-to-head so many times in Irish events and in Britain as well. So it's always close between these two in the centre lanes. Advantage early on with Eugene Cook, Edinburgh University swimmer.
Yeah, Eugene's got a really great start, taking full advantage of those walls and really maximising the distance off the first 15, and he's in a great position here moving into the first 50. Dropping under 29.3, that's a great first 50, with Rafe slowly coming in behind there, and Callum Melville actually in third, and well, Ian Corby's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, Callum Melville had an outstanding junior career. In fact, he's in his last year as a junior this year, so he'll be wanting to have a big impact before he goes and joins the senior ranks. But it certainly looks like it is lane 5, Eugene Cook. It was really built from the start.
And Ian Corby is not actually in this race. We should
Oh,
apologise.
right.
It's a William Godsall, so it must have been a last-minute change. But into the wall, it was Eugene Cook. That's a great performance there, backing up his heat swim with a 1:03.2, closely followed by George. But yeah, our apologies. I think there must have been a change in the programme. Our start sheets are slightly out of date and behind there, so there must have been a last-minute reserve swim that came in and replaced
Godsall
Ian Corby. So
was first
potentially,
reserve, so good for him to have got that opportunity.
so that might mean Ian Corby's in the A final, the Superfinal. We'll wait and see, but again, our start sheets are slightly out of date here, so we'll need to wait and see.
So it's Steenlouter of the Netherlands, goes in lane 1. Ivo Kroos, also from the Netherlands, in lane 2. And that is Owen Corby. So he did get promoted. That was a good spot, Jack. So he goes in lane 3 against this man, James Wilby of Loughborough Performance Centre in 4. Brams Vetsloot from the Netherlands, strong Netherlands contingent in this final. Rory Dixon, who is coming on strong for University of Stirling in recent months. And here's your man, Duncan Scott. Going to show what he can do on breaststroke, looking as cool as ever. And Archie Goodbad, very much a specialist breaststroke, getting some enthusiastic local support. He goes into lane 8, representing Edinburgh University. So there's your lineup. Corby then replacing the Dutch swimmer Koen de Groot into lane 3.
Yeah, so a bit of a shift, and that's what happened. So there's a reserve swimmer that actually got his performance there in the B final, so it's good they turned up for that. And yeah, so now Ian Corby in the A final, and a great lane as well, actually. He's put himself in a great position. He was in basically a middle lane, so it's worked out well for Brian Corby there.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can live up to that billing, because there's very little between these top athletes for swimmers in the B final, swimmers in the super final, so I don't think he will disgrace himself by any means in this final, but you would think will be there in the red cap is going to be the favourite winner in impressive start in the 200, his signature event yesterday. But in this event, he is the Commonwealth champion, he is the British champion, so what's he going to do here? He was a 61 in the heats this morning, second faster than Svetslut in lane 5. Svetslut off to a good start there. The black cap in lane 5, but will be quickly coming up alongside him.
Yeah, again, will be more of a 200 specialist, but his 100 is absolutely scorchingly quick as well, with a 58.5 personal best, which alongside anyone else in the world is right up there, and he's showing that class now. And it's up Archie Goodburn potentially in third. It is indeed, so he's done a very good first 50 there up in lane 8. But it's James and Bram in the middle 2 lanes respectively. But James will be with a significant advantage in that first 50.
Yeah, he's 7/10 faster for his first 50 than he was this morning, and he's still continuing to push it out. Going well still in lane 8 is Archie Goodburn. He's right in the mix behind Wilby. There's a whole group of them up on the top of your screen. They're battling it out, but Wilby is clear of them. Let's see what the time is going to be soon. He's just over the minute, 1:00.2. So that is impressive stuff there.
And look who it is in third place, Duncan Scott from lane 7 with a 1:01.8. I mean, my goodness, what cannot the man do? I mean, my goodness, that was a great performance for Duncan. He came back stormingly quick down that second 50, and Duncan actually at the ISL in 2021 was in a 4x100, or he did a 100 medley relay swim and went to 57 points. So he's clearly short course capable of a very quick 100, and he's backed that up. So just shows the depth of Duncan's capacity across multiple events, picking up a cheeky third place in the 100 individual breaststroke. Yep. Now we move on to the first of the butterfly finals in the junior. First up.
Yep, so the lineup for this one: Katie Rose of Warrender in lane 1, Emily Maxwell of Derwentside in 2, Ashley Bailey, City of Manchester Aquatics in 3, Seren Talentire of Morpeth in 4, Catherine Renfrew from Perth City in 5, Evie Mackey back after her 800 goes in 6 for Lanark, Coca Croxford of East Kilbride in 7, and Ola McInnes for Heart of Midlothian in lane 8. 1:03 to 1:05 the times for these junior swimmers.
Yeah, again, a few of these athletes capable of a 63s. It's good to see if they can challenge and make the drops from the heats to finals this evening. See a few of these athletes in the 200 yesterday as well, Duncan, so we know they're on good strong form, in particular Kathleen and Seren and Evie Mackey we saw as well. So again, if you've got the 200 abilities, likely to see them coming through in the second half, but it is, as it stands, lane 4. Seren coming through, just very tightly contested for second through to fourth.
Yep, so 29.4, 29.60, 29.63, so 29.7s and 29.8s as well, so this is a good tight one. The 2 red caps in the centre lanes, though, I think are maybe the ones who are going to sort it out between them. So that is Talentire in 4 and Renfrew, the Perth swimmer, in 5. Keep your eye on lane 7 as well. That's Coca Croxford from East Kilbride. She is not far away as we come into the final 5. Who's going to get the touch? I think it might be Catherine Renfrew. It is Catherine Renfrew, 1:03.03. She's pretty much exactly a second faster than she was this morning. Second, Ashley Bailey. Didn't talk about her at all in the commentary there, but that's a great second place for her.
Oh, absolutely, and Coco Crawford was just outside as well for third, doing a really good job in lane 7. It's that was anyone's race there, Duncan. It was a kind of a blanket finish across the field from 1 through to 5 there, so that was an excellent, real good race. Good to see a race, and rather than just one person storming away, which you see in some events. So, no, good stuff. Great way to start off.
Yeah, it is.
Butterfly.
It is fantastic, particularly for these younger swimmers, because quite often when they're swimming locally, they will be far and away better than anybody else around them. So here they're really up against their peers, which is great.
Challenging the skills, challenging the finish.
So the B finalists up on the blocks now. Becky Watson of Borough Stockton In 1, Manon Domignon of League of Earn. In 2, Kat Price of University of Bath. In 3, Maddie Robertson, Stirling University. In 4, Jessica Calderbank from City of Manchester Aquatics. In 5, Stella McCarty, City of Glasgow. In 6, Matilda Moeller of Hervey Statens. In 7, and Chloe Harris, Edinburgh University, in lane 8. 62s, 63s, the range of times here. So again, this could be a very tight contest. In the centre lanes, lane 4, Maddie Robertson, lane 5, Jessica Calderbank. Others, though, are up there with them. Kat Price is in particular, perhaps in lane 3. So it's those 3 lanes. It's the seeded lanes. 28.73. Maddie Robertson leads the way. Couple of tenths clear of Kat Price, who's having a good second 50, it looks like. Very strong off the wall there, Kat Price in lane 3, and she's put her up alongside Maddie Robertson now. Just behind them, Jessica Calderbank. Still these 3, but I think it's lanes 3 and 4. Kat Price, Maddie Robertson. Maybe Maddie still just has it. Oh, I don't know. I think it's Kat Price who will take it. Yes, she does. 1:01.60.
It was a storming last 50 there for Kat Price. Did a great job to time that well brilliantly, and again a really good finish, full stretch.
I thought she was particularly impressive off the wall in the turn as well. That's really what started as a platform to make that push in the second 50.
Pulled that momentum and carried it right the way through. You could see the stroke, really good body position, really good reach. Again, she looked really strong on those final closing stages. Now we move on to the super final.
And there goes Lily Rose Berthelot representing League of Earn. Into Emmy Hulkvist from Tabby Swim. Kira Schlossen in lane 3. And she comes. She's getting a big cheer as well.
Local
Swimming
contingent
here from Edinburgh. Tessa Gill going in lane 4 for Feyenoord. Ellen Walsh will be next out, representing Swim Ireland. And it's lane 6, Scottish record holder Kiana McInnes. In lane 7, her Stirling University teammate Lucy Grieve. And in lane 8, from Swim Ireland, Alana Burns-Atkin.
Yeah, well, Kiana McInnes and Lucy Grieve. Kiana was first at the Bucks Championships and Lucy was second just a few weeks ago. Both had excellent performances there, getting really right down into the 58s and backing up some really strong performances in the 200 yesterday for Kiana. So we'll see what she's got in the tank in this 100 discipline. Recently breaking the Scottish record in the 50 butterfly at that Bucks Championship. So again, I think she's well on form here. And again, you've got the balance of a few 50 specialists like Lucy Grieve and more of a 200 and Keir Sloshin. And yeah, it'd be great to see the different approaches here to this 100 metre, that middle event.
And Gill and Walsh, I think, will be threats as well. They were both under the minute this morning. Ellen Walsh, the very fast Irish swimmer, was 4th in the European Short Course Championships. So she's certainly going to be in the mix here, I think. Off they go. So this one, I think, was one of the highlights of the evening. Let's see how it works out. So we've got Gill in 4, Walsh in 5, McInnes in 6, Schlossen in 3. A great start from Tessa Gill, the Feyenoord swimmer, and well, she has given herself a really good opportunity to take this one to the rest of the field. 26.88.
Absolutely electric down that first 50 there, Duncan. That was exceptional. Let's see if she can back that up. That was a brilliant first 50, and yeah, it's a real challenge there coming from outside lanes. It's a real blanket from 2 to 3 at the moment, maybe just the edge going to Eleanor Walsh at the moment for that second position, and kind of a late push come up from Lucy Grieve, actually. Lucy Grieve and Kiana McInnes potentially for that 3rd place spot.
Can anyone catch Tessa Gill, though? That's the question, and I don't think they can. She is going to bring it in by about 1.5 meters. 58.42. That's a superb swim from the Dutch woman.
That was a fantastic swim there from Kira Sloshin. We didn't even miss her there coming down the last 50. She had an absolutely brilliant second 50. Just clutching ahead of Kiana McInnes and Lucy Grieve in a 59.16. That is a brilliant swim from Kira Sloshin. That's actually inside, which I believe is a personal best time there for Kira Sloshin. So a brilliant swim from the Edinburgh swimmer. Yeah.
But Tessa Gill there,
and she looks delighted overall there from out there from lane Lane 7, was it?
Lane 3, Shakira Sosson, yes.
Lane 3, apologies. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great performance. Yeah, it was really tight there in the finish for third, Duncan.
Yeah.
Again, she just nipped in ahead of Kiana and Lucy Grieve, but I think first and second were fairly tied up, particularly first there. Eleanor Walsh did a great job.
58.42, and that was, I think, her best time for Tessa, beating her time from the European Championships, 58.71 last year, so brilliant stuff. Now it's men's and open 200 butterfly. Line up for the junior final, Carla Salawi of Hovedstatens in lane 1. Matthew McMillan of Vinkers, the Inverkeithing-based team just north of the Forth Bridge. James Boddy of Geary in lane 3 from Aberdeenshire. Benjamin Beale of Dermottside in lane 4. Angel Exposito of Villefranche in 5. Two more Geary swimmers, Kyle Mitchell in 6, Fraser Tetlow in 7, and Matthew Scott goes for Newcastle swim team in lane 8.
Yeah, well, I think back to the 200 butterfly from yesterday, Duncan. We saw some of the athletes go out particularly hard and potentially pay for it in the closing 50, so we'll see what sort of tactics come up for play here. But Angela Exposito is going out relatively hard there. His rate was quite high going down that first 50, so he's really put himself in a very strong position here. Potentially, is it too soon, Duncan, to be going out so hard? I mean, he's easing up a little bit now, but it's a risky business in the 200 butterfly, so we'll see how this pans out.
Well, an 18-year-old, so you would think he will know how to swim this. He's up by, what, 1.5 meters over Carla Salawi, is going great guns from lane 1. Just over the minute at the halfway mark, 1:00.82, 32.9. So all muchness those front three in terms of their second 50 splits. So that means that Exposito is holding on to his lead, and that's still the case with Halawi, the Dane from Hovedstatens, 18-year-old as well, going very nicely in lane 1. But there we focus in on Exposito, and I don't think he did go off too fast because he's holding this comfortably. In fact, he has picked it up compared with the others there. He's now got a 2-second lead to take into the final 50.
He has indeed, and it's an excellent swim from Carla Salawi as well, out there by himself in lane 1. He's just coming through now in lane 4 as well as Benjamin Beale, but it's a really strong performance, excellently paced from Angela Exposito. I'm eating my words here, Duncan, and rightfully so. It must have been a very comfortable and controlled heat for Exposito this morning because he's pushed on really hard. That's a really strong performance of a 2:06. It's 4-second drop, over a 4-second drop, so again, it's a significant, must have been a very comfortable heat, but again, it's a great performance overall. And Carlos out in lane 1, holding for that second place, and Benjamin Beale having an excellent second half of the race to comfortably control third place. Just
looking at Exposito's entry time, that was a 2:05, so the 2:06 is very much more what you would expect compared with the 2:10 that he did this morning. So I think he'll be pretty happy with that, and the way he swam it, he'll be pretty happy with as well.
Very evenly paced, yeah. Then we move on to the B final.
And the lineup for the B final: Ian Hangard goes for Simklubben of Sweden in lane 1, Benjamin Chuyen, Edinburgh University in 2, his teammate Tom Robertson in 3, Andrew Bertoli from Stirling University in 4, Sean Donnellan of Swim Island in 5, Stefan Kravis of East Lothian in 6, Peter Allen of Stirling University in 7, and Ethan Williams of Newcastle swim team in lane 8. 2:06 up to 2:10 the times from the heats. So we see somebody really push it out hard in the first 50 like we saw in the last one. Out of the dive, there's not too much in it. Perhaps just lane 4. That is Andrew Bertoli.
Yeah, Bertoli capable of a 2:02, his personal best time, so I think that 2:06 from this morning, potentially a bit more left in the tank, so we'll see as he pulls himself into a position here. But it's actually up in lane 6, Stefan Kravic, again is an excellent prospect, a Scottish youngster coming through, again a real talent across many disciplines. Stefan Kravic, the 18-year-old now, coming through again. He's really turns his hand to a lot of events, including this 200 butterfly. But Andrew Bertoli potentially just coming through now into that first place position as he stretches slightly ahead, but it's a hot contest in the middle 4 lanes.
Yeah, So lanes 4, 5, 6 and 7 all in the frame as we come to halfway. Bertoli now has the edge on Kravis, 59.73 against 100.09, and also on the 60 points. Third and fourth place swimmers Peter Allen and Sean Donnellan. Also now starting to make an appearance, Tom Robertson in lane 3, but as this race progresses, it more and more looks like Bertoli, unless there is a late push, and perhaps Sean Donnellan is the swimmer who could put that push in. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, well, he's paced it really well. Went out really relaxed, Sean, and again, he's really pushing hard, almost negative splitting, or not quite, but really pushing into, building through, and he's pushing into second place now. He's going to really challenge Bertoli here as he comes down into this final. His rate's going really high, and he's really motoring through now, Sean.
So it's going to be a really tight one now, 20 metres to go. The two of them side by side. Also pushing on is Peter Allen in lane 7, but it's a 4-5 battle here. White cap, Sean Donnellan, black cap, Andrew Bertoli. Who's going to get the touch? Bertoli holds on. He had to respond and dig deep there to see off the challenge. Both of them coming back in a 32.9. So terrific stuff. Sean Donnellan through the kitchen sink of that one in that last 75 metres, but well, Bertoli had it in hand and was able to take it to the wall.
Yeah, again, you see different approaches to tactics and pacing there. Bertoli kind of a lot more out in that first 100, dropping into the 59 point, and Sean really backing up the second half. Yeah, Bertoli had enough, and again with his capacity of a 2:02 entry time, I think had that tied up in a 2:06 from his heat. So now we move on swiftly to the Superfinal.
So that's Brodie Gordon-Gibson, local swimmer from Edinburgh University, leads them out into lane 1. Brogan McAviney next in, representing the Limerick National Centre in Ireland. In lane 3 is Tiago Gomez from Eindhoven. In lane 4, fastest qualifier, University of Aberdeen's Tom Bealey, very experienced 200 fly swimmer. Finn McGeever, second from Limerick, goes in lane 5. James Woodward of Hatfield next out. He will go to lane 6. Looking cool, calm and collected. And lane 7, Scott Fleming. Nice little wry smile there from the East Kilbride man. And Callum Rose from Edinburgh University goes into lane 8. So Edinburgh University in the outside lanes. Tom Bealey from the University of Aberdeen has the coveted lane 4.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these athletes capable of the low 2 minutes. Even outside in lane 8, Callum Rose capable of a 2:02, but I think the likely favourite here potentially being Tom Bealey with an entry time of a 1:57. So that 2:03 from this morning, likely quite comfortable. I think it would be in line with him to be pushing towards that 2 minute mark if he can, with trials 3 weeks away, and to be maximising, taking advantage of these last few performances.
Finn McGeever had an excellent heat swim, 2:03.37. That was about a second faster than he came into this meet on. So the question is for him, I think, can he build on that this evening, because you'd certainly expect Bealey to be faster than his 2:03.27 that he swam this morning.
Yeah, Finn McGeever likely gave a real hard push this morning, Duncan. So again, it comes down to that energy management from the heat to the finals. You know, what have they done in between? How much has Finn got left? Is he riding that wave of confidence in that personal best swim? And Tom Bealey likely a bit more comfortable, so we'll see what they have to show. Tom Bealey still sporting a bit of a beard, so he's not shaved down for this, Duncan, so maybe a tell of where he's at in the season. That's always a bit of a sign if they've not shaved down yet, but I'm sure he'll still be looking for a strong performance here and to kind of stamp his strategy moving forward to British trials. And it is coming through in the middle lanes.
I don't think you'll see that beard in London.
No, very unlikely. I think it would be very unlikely indeed, but it is the middle 4 lanes. The likely suspects coming in with Tom and Finn McGeever, closely followed by Tiago Gomez and James Woodward.
So 26.78, Bealey setting out his stall now, about a metre up. With McGeever second, it's tight for third. We've got lane 6, James Woodward, and lane 3, Tiago Gomez. Looks like Woodward now making third his own, but Bealey in the white cap is up by about a body length. and he goes through in 56.94, about 8/10 faster than he was in this morning's heats, and a lead now of over a second. It's getting tight for second because Brodie Gordon-Gibson is having a cracking race from lane 1. He's getting himself into the mix for a top 3 spot, along with lane 3 Tiago Gomez, lane 5 Finn McGeever, and lane 6 James Woodward. But this is Bealey's race. He's up now by about 4 meters as he heads for home. 1:28.29. See a 31.3 there. So we're looking at around about the 2-minute mark, probably just under. Here he comes towards the camera, putting it all in.
It's going to be a close battle for that second and third there with James and Finn McGeever. Again, it's going to be really tight. Tiago Gomez as well in the picture there, coming through, but it's a comfortable first place in the end for Tom. Will he dip just over the 2-minute mark in the end, but it's going to be really tight in the finish for that second and third, and Finn McGeever coming through that 2:03, backing up that strong heat swim right on his personal best time again, and Tiago Gomez, again, an excellent swim of a 2:03. I think he'll be happy with that, looking at his entry time of a 2:03.42.
So Bealey then 2:00.93. He was slightly slower down that last 50 than I expected him to be. Do you think that will be a concern, or is it just I know I've got the race, I've done what I wanted to do with a good strong first half?
Yeah, well, it's likely the case that again when taper comes you can go out a bit easier with that easier speed, and then when taper comes that back 50 is likely the real sort of missing piece that comes into play. So his first 150 metres looked really relaxed, really comfortable, but where's like that in his training, a bit more of a rest to come, I think, but I don't think he'll be too concerned with that. I think it's just a slight drop off in his pace and his body position, maybe suffering a bit in the final 25 metres and dropping off, but not far away. And now we move on fast and furiously to the 400 individual medley for women, and we start with the junior final.
So line up for the junior final: Karis Mooney, City of Glasgow in 1, Alice Ward of Borough Stockton in 2, Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson of Derwentsside in 3, Eve Connery of Swim Island in 4, Zara Kravis of East Lothian in 5, Alice Cummings, City of Glasgow 6, Abigail Crawford, also City of Glasgow in 7, and Abby Whitfield of Derwentsside in lane 8.
Yeah, well, we saw the men earlier on in this event, and now we see the women coming through, starting with the junior final. We've got a spread of 1 15-year-olds, 2 15-year-olds in this event, Zara Kravich and Abigail Crawford from City of Glasgow and East Lothian. Got a few 17-year-olds. Again, it's a very young field, as you'd expect in the junior. Get 15-year-olds coming through. It's excellent prospect for the individual medley event. You think about the legacy. This is the 25th anniversary and rendition, and you think to the Hannah Miley, that staple character in the women's side, and now more in recent years Katie Shanahan. So I think a lot of these athletes will be looking up to those role models. International Women's Day was yesterday, so again we think about these key features, and again it's really great to see these young women following in the footsteps of such great athletes in Scottish swimming.
Yep. Hannah Miley, British record holder and Scottish record holder. Amy Wilmot, in fact, has the meet record here. Another fantastic 400 IMer. Of course, spent a number of years out of Stirling. So another one to look up to. You quite often hear Amy on the commentaries in British events as well, so giving us the benefits of her experience. But it's a great start in lane 3 from the Derwentsside swimmer Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson. Derwentsside produced some really excellent swimmers, and they are performing very nicely this weekend. We see them quite a lot coming up to Scottish events, and it's great to have the contingent from the northeast of England. Finding it worthwhile to come up to Scotland to get some good quality competition, and Evie taking full advantage of that, along with her northeast of England colleague Alice Ward from Stockton. So she's going well. Then in lane 7 it's leading Glaswegian, that's Abigail Crawford, but Evie in lane 3 had a good fly and having a good backstroke now.
Yeah, coming through strongly here, but I think we'll see a bit of a shift potentially from the backstroke into the breaststroke. You'll see the field change somewhat here. Again, we saw it on the men's side, the butterfly and the backstroke legs obviously favouring some of the athletes more so but the breaststroke, there can be such a shift because it's by far the slowest stroke, so you can make the biggest gains or lose the most in the field, potentially in what way you look at it. And again, there's a few individuals that will come through strongly here.
They're pretty well spread out though, and it's still a pretty healthy lead that Evie has, so they're going to have to go some to fall her back. Let's see who are the potential candidates in the breaststroke. Looks like lane 6 is going well. That is Alice Cumming. She is certainly moving up, I think going past her teammate now in lane 7. And also in lane 4, Niamh Connery from Swimmer Ireland. She is coming up, so there's a 3-way contest for second now, but still Evie O'Halloran Hutchison a 45.3, but you can see Alice Cumming in 43s and Niamh Connery at 42. So
Niamh a very strong breaststroker, so it's like I said, you'd see a big change here, and Niamh's having a storming breaststroke leg here, really stretching out, but it is still Eve is holding on just. Again, she's going to be slightly pushed here in the freestyle leg, and Niamh's having a great breaststroke split overall in the Glasgow summer there, holding on. Alice Cumming again also having a really strong breaststroke performance, and her teammate, the youngster Abigail Crawford, still hanging on for 4th. All to play for in the final 100 metres, Duncan.
Yep, so it's O'Halloran Hutchinson who goes into that final 100 for 00:52. Now, can she get the momentum back in the freestyle, or will Niamh Connery build on that fast breaststroke and take that through into the freestyle? Looks like it's going to move between these two now, with 3rd place in lane 6, Alice Cumming, but she's probably too far back, and Evie, who has led all the way through, is looking the favourite now. She has got just over 50 metres to go. We'll get an idea of their pace in the freestyle as the splits come up here. So that was a 36.5, so Niamh Connery slightly faster, but she's still got a second to make up. That's not impossible down the last 50, but she'll really have to pull out all the stops here to make it happen. Can
She's motoring,
Evie?
Duncan. She's motoring away. She's motoring away. It's going to be really tight for Niamh coming into the final 50 metres. As she left a little bit too late, it's going to be really, really close. This final challenge from Niamh, coming in the middle lane. Has she done enough? Or she left it too late? It's a final push challenge, but I think it will be Eve that's holding on. A really fast finish there from lane 5. My goodness, we actually missed it. It was a Zara Kravich coming through. A 30.3, Duncan. My goodness, what a final 50 there from Zara. We completely missed that. We were so focused on even Niamh there. Zara Kravich, a 30 point in that final 50 there. That was an astonishing compared to her team, her rivals there of 34 points. 30.5 in that final 50. We completely missed it.
I think there'll be some questions there about her tactics there.
That was really interesting pacing.
Very, very interesting indeed. But Evie O'Halloran Hutchison was very calm, I think, down that last 50, and she knew the threat was coming in, but she stuck to her task, and that was a good 5-second improvement on her heat swim, so I think she'll be pretty happy with that. She came in, though, on a 5:05, so there's more in the tank for Evie as the season progresses, I'm sure. B final now. Hannah O'Connor for National Centre Limerick in 1, Maya Lage of Villefranche in 2, Erin Taylor of Finns, the Kirkcaldy-based team, in 3, Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen in 4, Sophie Main of Edinburgh University in 5, Niamh Savary of Newcastle in 6, Tegan Black of East Lothian in 7, Mia Mason from City of Manchester Aquatics in lane 8. 5:08 to 5:15 the heat times here. Rebecca Reid, experienced swimmer from Aberdeen, was the fastest, so she's in that white cap in lane 4. Another one who's good across the range of strokes. Beside her, also in the white cap, Erin Taylor. She is a good fly swimmer. Watch out for her in the breaststroke. I think she might struggle a little bit in the backstroke, but we'll wait and see. Lane 8 going well. In fact, she has the lead. Mia Mason, 31.61, Manchester swimmer. And lane 6 as well, Niamh Savary. So all up for grabs here. Plenty of contenders early on.
Yeah, well, it's Maya Mason up there in lane 8 that's storming away again. You might see different strengths and strokes here, Duncan, very likely. So maybe a strong butterfly swimmer. Again, taking full advantage of that being a preferable stroke. Again, you see more of the centre lanes, particularly lane 5, Sophie Main, over backstroker, breaststroker. Again, it's just a little chop and change, but it's great to see because you just don't know where it's going to come from. When we saw Zara Kravic there really just pacing completely differently and really taking us off guard, and it's kind of the main exciting and the most exciting thing about a 400 individual medley, because it's such a long race and there's such a contrast in times for each of these 4-stroke disciplines, and it can really shift, and you think someone's out of the picture and then they come storming back through in a particular leg, or even within that 100-metre discipline you see them different pacing. You look to the great Michael Phelps, he would always try and negative split the 100 of each of the strokes respectively. That would be his approach, to try and really come back as strong as possible on the seconds you'd build into the next phase as you transition from butterfly to backstroke, backstroke to breaststroke respectively. So again, thinking about tactics here, how the athletes will approach it, but as it stands, it's lane 6. Niamh.
Niamh Savary looking very good on the backstroke, isn't she? She's opened up a good, healthy lead. Now we've seen that leads can shrink away as we go to different strokes, but Niamh Savary has certainly given herself every opportunity here. About 4 metres clear as we go to breaststroke, 2:24.40 against Rebecca Reed's 2:27.47.
Yeah, well, I think if the rest of the field, if there's anyone that's going to be challenging, it likely will be Rebecca Reed. Potentially it will challenge Niamh's lead at the moment, but as it stands, Niamh's still holding on strong. Got a nice long stroke, nice glide phase, as does Rebecca Reed. Again, both lovely breaststroke technique there. Again, really maximising that glide phase. This being the highest resistance of all the strokes. So again, when you come up to breathe, you're essentially hitting the brakes. So again, the more you can maximise or keep that glide phase as long as possible, that's when you really take advantage. And again, you look at the top breaststrokers, Duncan Scott in the medley events, you see the technique and the efficiency that's involved here, and Niamh's really extending that lead now actually, and yeah, she's put herself in a great position here to challenge her entry time potentially. We'll see how she's going when she comes into the freestyle split, but a few athletes coming through from middle of the field, so Rebecca Reed potentially not going to have all her way.
Yeah, a good tight contest for second, but well, Niamh Savary is well away from them now, so well, breaststroke has been very good for her, and she is right up there, 42.8 there as she goes through into the freestyle 3:49.88. A long way clear of the field now. 8 seconds is her lead, as Rebecca Reed now has serious company. On one side it's Erin Taylor, who had a good breaststroke, and on the other side it's Sophie Main, and also in lane 2 Maya Large is up there. So that's where a battle is going on, but well, the masterclass is in front of them as Niamh Savary turns for home 4:26.21, so that was a 36, so we're looking at something just maybe over the 5-minute mark for Niamh Savary.
Yeah, I mean, her entry time is a 4:57, so if she could challenge that low 5 minutes, I think she'd be pretty happy with that. All going well, but it's been a bit of a burst there from Rebecca Reed in lane 4 that's kind of extended her position, holding into that second place now, and it's actually down in, that's that in lane 2 actually that's coming in for a late challenge, which is Mela Large, potentially going to be taking this third place with a late push.
So just over the 5 minutes for Niamh there. Excellent race all the way through. Rebecca Reed, who's a very accomplished freestyler, in the end fairly comfortable in a second place, 5:07.64, with Maya Large coming through strongly to take third, 5:08.23. I still can't get over that 30 point from Zara in the junior. That was well, get over it, Jack, because we've got a cracker coming up here.
We do indeed.
In the Superfinal, so yes, this is going to be something special, I think. We have a world champion in the house.
We do indeed. Yeah, this is going to be a great race, I think. And can't think about Katie Shanahan. She looked really relaxed this morning, didn't she, Duncan?
Yeah. So here they come. Anna Farrow, University of Bath, will go into lane 1. Susie McNair from Stirling Swimming into lane 2. 17-year-old Katie Shanahan in lane 3 goes for Stirling University. There is your world champion, Freya Colbert, going for Loughborough Performance Centre in lane 4. 5 is Ellen Walsh from Swim Ireland. 6, Michaela Glenister, Stirling University. Wonder why she didn't swim the 800. This is your reason why she wants this 400 IM. Ailsa McDonald of Edinburgh University in lane 7. And Alice Forrest for Derwentside in lane 8. Just 15 years old. What an experience for the youngster to swim in this company against the likes of Freya Colbert, Ellen Walsh, Michaela Glenister and Katie Shannon.
Didn't we see Alice Forrest in the 800 earlier? Was that right? I think we did. I mean, what a backup that is, an 800 freestyle into a 400 individual medley, but also great to see Ailsa McDonald from Edinburgh University coming through, but I think it very much will be the centre lanes here with Freya Colbert and Katie Shanahan capable of a 4:35 and 4:36 respectively in their entry times. Again, Freya Colbert coming off that World Championship, first place that World Championship title. Again, Katie Shanahan having an absolutely brilliant few years, breaking through in the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. She's on good form at this competition, swimming a number of events, Duncan, across the board.
Yeah, particularly IM and backstroke. Her signature events, but she looked very good in the 200 free as well. So away we go. Shannon will go in 3, Colbert in 4, Walsh in 5, probably the 3 favourites here. Anna Farrow setting out a stall early on in lane 1, the Bath swimmer. So as we settle in, it looks like maybe Katie Shannon in lane 3 has the early advantage. But this is going to be a cat and mouse affair, I think. There's going to be lots of tactics involved, lots of racing. This is about, it's not so much about times, it's about racing. 200s in it at the 50. Shannon, Colbert, Farrow, your 1, 2, 3, and then Susie McNair right there as well in the white cap in lane 2. And Ellen Walsh in lane 5 is moving up now in the second half of the butterfly, as I think Freya Colbert perhaps just edging into the lead now. Not a lot in it as we come to the end of the butterfly, but it will be Colbert just touching first by 3/10, 1:04.55 against Shanahan's 1:04.89. Ellen Walsh in 3rd place, and then a bit of a gap to the next swimmers. Great shots there from our camera crew. Shanahan and Colbert, both great backstrokers. Both of them absolutely top quality backstrokers in their own right. So who is going to come out towards the halfway mark with the advantage? Can you call it from here, Jack?
Well, there's a lot still to happen, Duncan, with the breaststroke and freestyle to come. I think they're both, Freya and Katie Shanahan, putting themselves in great positions here to really be challenging for some strong times. But again, we saw Ellen Walsh in the 100 butterfly earlier on this evening, so great to see her back that up in the 400 medley, and again a much younger prospect with the likes of Susie McNairn coming through, the 17-year-old. She's putting herself in a good position as a 4:47 entry time.
But Colbert's had a good second half to her backstroke, and she has broken away from Katie Shannon in this last 50 metres. Here she goes through the turn. What a great overhead shot of her there, 2:14.70. So she's now a second and a half up. What will happen in the breaststroke?
Yeah, that was a storming second 50, really, as we said, building through, almost negative split in that 100 backstroke, really building through and taking 2 seconds out of Katie Shanahan there. So see how Katie responds. You'll be able to see her at the corner of her eye here as they glide forward. But stroke for stroke at the moment, and I think Freya is more than holding on, potentially just sort of pulling away. But Katie Shanahan still having a good swim here. She's still within reach.
So 2:54 plays 2:56, so the gap has grown a bit. Another 6/10 added to the Colbert lead in the first half of the breaststroke. So if Freya Shannon is to challenge here, she's got to start making a move. Ellen Walsh is not that far back. She's a body length back on Katie Shannon. So I think we've seen the 3 top swimmers here in your shot. And a nice head-on view of Freya Colbert as she comes down the breaststroke leg. And she is, I think, continuing to increase that lead So it's looking good for the world champion to also be the Edinburgh International champion. 3:34.45 for her as we go to freestyle. Her lead now over 3 seconds as she picked up another 8/10 there. So this, you think, is just about done and dusted now. Ellen Walsh is sticking in there, a body length behind Katie Shanahan. But it's going to be the Freya Colbert show here. She will not be denied now. Let's see what the time is going to be. That's the other interesting question. How close can she get to her entry time? She turns in 4:06, so we're looking at maybe 4:36, 4:37. And that would be pretty impressive if she can do that sort of time at this stage in the season. It's really getting tight now for second place because Ellen Walsh is really challenging Katie Shanahan, but looks like Katie responds to that challenge. But let's focus on Freya Colbert because she is looking supreme here as she comes into the final 5. What a performance from the world champion, 4:37.72. Now look at this race for second. It is tight. Shanahan just holds on. 4:43.99 from a fast finishing Ellen Walsh, 4:44.22. But Freya Colbert, 4:37.72. is our Edinburgh International champion.
Yeah, indeed, Duncan. I mean, it's that second 50 of the backstroke leg. She extended that lead and then just went away from there, building through, just showing her class. The world champion coming through, and again, an excellent time of 4:37. I think that will fill her full of confidence with trials 3 weeks away, backing up an exceptional performance in Doha 3 weeks prior. So yeah, I think overall, and Ellen Walsh, I think we'll be happy with that performance for third with a 4:41 entry time. So yeah, excellent 1, 2, 3 there for the athletes. And now we move on to the fast and furious 50 freestyle, the splash and dash. So we've got the men's 50 freestyle and the women's 50 breaststroke. So again, we will have the skins renditions in the super final, but we'll start with the juniors for both the men and women respectively, alternating as we did with the first set of 50s earlier this evening.
So the lineup for the male and open junior final: Harry Sharp of Warrender, Tiago Gomez of Eindhoven, Lucas Brown of Stirling University, Nicholas Costella of Hovedstatens, Magnus Morris of Ren 96, Finley Sang, City of Glasgow, Logan Mulhall-Reid of Warrington, and Logan van der Merlen from Stirling Swimming.
Yeah, well, Tiago Gomez and Logan van der Merlen we've seen multiple times this evening, Duncan, and even yesterday. Very busy schedules.
Yeah, Nicholas Costella, another one. Magnus Morris as well have been lighting up this weekend. So really a top quality juniors in this field. 23.79 was the fastest time. Costella, let's see what he can do in this final. He goes there in that blue cap in lane 4.
Great to see if the athletes can drop under that 24 barrier again. And we're underway.
So in the 53, very much your event, Jack, is one of them.
What
is it all about the starts and the finishes?
Oh, very much so, and head down as much as possible. And as Nicholas Costella is doing there, he's really motoring into this wall, taking full advantage. He's taken one breath so far, maybe a second or third there. As he comes in, needs to get his head down, stretch out for the wall.
Whoa.
Excellent swim at 23.25. That was a brilliant swim. Huge drop from his heat swim of a 23.79. My goodness, I think he'll be delighted with that. He had an excellent first 15 there, and again, it's really important to hold your breath as much as possible. And seeing the 50 events, the top level, the athletes do not breathe in the entire 50, so the juniors can practice that and try and nail it for when they progress through. But that was a brilliant swim for Nicholas there, 23.25.
Yeah,
I think he'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, pretty much on his entry time. So the lineup there for the female 50 breaststroke: Niamh Connery of Swim Ireland, Lily Mundell of Hearts, Delinen Kataiti of Randaberg, Zara Smith of Warrender, Perry Scobby of Stirling, Ellie Kennedy and Amy McLeod, both from City of Glasgow, and Ailey Robertson of South Ayrshire. Zara Smith swam in the afternoon heat, so It was an impressive swim to become fastest qualifier for this junior final. She's in the red cap, but looks like maybe lane 6 has just got the edge on her. That's Ellie Kennedy of City of Glasgow. Others going well. Ailey Robertson up at the top of your screen, but well, it was not tight at all in the junior 50 free male and open, but this is really close for the females. Who's going to get the touch? It's all about the finish, and it goes to Zara Smith. She looked like she was third going into that last stroke.
Well, just shows, threw her hands into that wall, extended out, all in the finish, and she's taken it by 200ths of a second, and then 300ths from second to third, and it just shows in the 50 events, particularly in the breaststroke and the butterfly, you can so easily mistime your finish or get a huge advantage into that final half stroke. Sometimes beneficial to take a little cheeky half stroke at the end, which you'll see, but as we move furiously down to the 50 freestyle, the B final, and the men.
Yep, and there they are. Jamie Ingram, City of Manchester Aquatics, just you can see his leg on the block there. In lane 1, Rob Derbyshire, University of Bath in 2, Vince van der Paal of Team Netherlands in 3, Jack McMillan, Stirling University in 4, Jordan Cooley of Leeds University in 5, Evan Bailey, Swim Ireland 6, Joe Litchfield of Loughborough Performance 7, and Oliver Sogard Anderson from Hovedstatens in lane 8. Just 100th between Jack McMillan and Jordan Cooley in the heat, so maybe not going to see that easy win here. It's looking strong though, Joe Litchfield, not known for a 50 freestyler, but he's going nicely in lane 7. Is he going to take the win? Well, I'm not sure he is. I think it's lane 5, Jordan Cooley, who comes through and takes it in 22.91.
Yeah, well, Joe's got an excellent 100 freestyle. He's a 48-point summer, and he was actually breathing every 2 there, so that was an interesting tactic. Maybe just more using this as a tactical swim, practicing his pacing for, you know, that faster sort of over-rating swim for the 100 tomorrow potentially. But he had an electric first 15, known for his starts and known for his underwaters, being an IM specialist as well. And you know, a decent performance there from Jack McMillan as well, the 200 freestyler. We saw him yesterday, but we quickly move on as we do.
Yeah,
to
so
the B final of the
good
50
win
breaststroke.
from Jordan Cooley there. So it's the B final for the 50 breast now. Emma Doyle of Limerick, Alwyn Cook, Edinburgh University, Erin Robinson of Basingstoke, Ashley Ransom of Hatfield, Elliot McCartney of Swim Ireland, Anna Droffelar, Netherlands, and then 2 from Thionville, Justine Brock and Anastasia Obaniak. So 32.7 to 33.7 the times here. Good start from the Irish swimmer Ellie McCartney in lane 5, and also again up at the top of the pool Anastasia Obaniak, but well, starting to make a bit of a push. Ashley Ransom of Hatfield in lane 4 in that purple cap, and she is right up there with Ellie McCartney. It's between the two of them, but I think Ellie will prevail, and she does. 32.67.
It was a great swim there from Erin Robertson. She came storming through. She had an excellent start, and she was really building through into that final 25. Great to see Erin Robertson back swimming again from Basingstoke. When
Former
she had,
colleague of yours in Edinburgh University.
She was indeed, yeah, and you know, it's a great pedigree, the Robertson sisters, across the board. So yeah, it's good to see her getting back into the action, and great performance there, taking a second place in the B final. I think she'll be very pleased with that swim.
So it's skins time, and the 2 sets of finalists will come out one by one. There's Thomas Piron of League of Erne for the men, and for the women it's Jana Spinner, University of Bath. Lane 2, Tom Fannon, Swim Ireland for the men's 50 free, and Anna Morgan for Edinburgh University in the women's 50 breast. Then we have Sean Nievold of Feyenoord in lane 3, joined by Cara Hanlon, the Scottish record holder and British champion, in lane 3. Lane 4, the fastest qualifiers, Jessie Putz for De Dolphin of Netherlands, and Angharad Evans, what a meet she's having. There is the tall stature of David Cumberledge in lane 5 for Edinburgh University, and Imogen Clark, the 50 breaststroke specialist, is going into 5 for the women. Then it's Duncan Scott back again in lane 6, and Katie Goodburn. Then the lane 7 swimmers, Nikita Byers and Neve Coyne. And in lane 8, Callum Bain for Swim Ireland, and Ava Jones, also of Swim Ireland.
Yeah, really looking forward to this 50-free, Duncan. Again, it was a speciality of myself, the 1500 freestyle, but David Cumberledge, what a staple in the sport, as well as Jesse Poots. I mean, world champion 8 years ago, short course in this event. Jesse's got an electric first 15. David is probably one of the quickest swimmers through the water that you'll see. He's got an absolutely electric swimming stroke, really long-ranging athlete, standing at 6'7", absolute monster. Again, he just sort of skims across the water. Duncan Scott, again, just above David will be, oh sorry, down the far end. It'll be interesting to see what he's got to produce, but I think it'll be Jesse Poots with a 22-1 this morning. Was an absolutely fantastic performance. So we'll see Jesse really fly off the start here, maximise those 50 metres, and David will be chasing all the way.
So again, this is the one where you can get an accredited time in this first round, the in time with the regulation start, and off they go. 4, remember, we'll go through into the second round. 4 will have their performance finished, but going strongly is Jesse Poots in lane 4 with David Cumberledge beside him, and Duncan Scott also right up there. These three in lanes 4, 5 and 6 looking very strong. It's going to be really tight. Who gets the touch? It's Poots in 22-21. Fannon is in one getting second. Didn't see that coming with Cumberledge, and Duncan Scott will go through. Duncan Scott just 2/10 away from his Scottish record there, so that was impressive. Those 4 will progress. So it's Poots, Fannon, Cumberledge and Scott going into the second round, where Jesse Poots with the advantage of having won the first round. On to the women then. That is not the correct lineup that was up there. That was from the junior final, so it's a reminder. It's Spinner, Morgan, Hanlon, Evans, Clark, Goodburn, Coyne and Jones. There we go. Imogen Clark, very strong on 50 breaststroke. And Harriet Evans has been absolutely on fire, so close to the British record in the 100 yesterday. Imogen Clark is the British record holder. Cara Hanlon is the Scottish record holder. So let's see how this one works out. Into their strokes, and it's lanes 5 and 6 who are off to good starts. That's Clark in 5 and Goodburn in 6. Getting into a stride now, Angharad Evans in lane 4, but this looks like Imogen Clark all the way up in lane 8. And is Ava Jones working hard, but Imogen Clark is in control of this one in lane 5. She's going to take this one. Let's see what the time is going to be. It's a fast one, 30.74. So she will go through. Cara Hanlon joins her. Angharad Evans joins her. Anna Morgan joins her. Goodburn just misses out, along with Jana Spinner, Neve Coyne and Ava Jones.
Yeah, well, I think Cara will be happy to dip under that 30 point. That was a really good swim there. I think she'll be pleased with that. Great to see her just on the touch. That was really close there, Duncan, on the 1, 2, 3, and Cara had an excellent finish. Really good stretching through. Again, she's so electric through the water. But speaking of which, David Cumberledge had an absolutely brilliant swim, as did Tom Fannon. Tom Fannon had an excellent swim, getting much down closer to his personal best. I think it's a 22.2 is Tom Fannon's best. He's been out of the sport for a while. So it's great to see him getting back into things. And David, I think, will be really happy with a 22.3. As with Duncan with a 22.4, it was a really fast first 50.
So they got the whistle, 10-second warning. That's all they'll get till the starting signal. So it's Fannon, Poots, Cumberledge, Scott. 2 will go through to the final round. Which 2 is it going to be? Duncan Scott going off strongly in lane 6, because it might benefit him as a 100 and 200 specialist, and he certainly got the advantage here from David Cumberledge. It looks like it might be these 2. Poots, I think his day is done, and certainly Tom Fannon is not in the game at all. So it's Duncan Scott 23.36, Cumberledge 24.67. They will contest the final 2. We say goodbye to Tom Fannon and Jesse Poots, but well, Duncan Scott obviously wants this one. That was a hard pushed second round.
I think it was maybe unnecessarily hard pushed there. I mean, a 23.3, he kind of had that tied away to the 25, and David kind of cruising into the end there, done what he needed to do. So it'll be interesting to see if Duncan, I'm sure he will be able to back up another 23, but I think David, don't discard him. David can be pretty handy in these events. He's won it in the past several times, particularly in the 5 rendition event, as has Duncan, so I think that's hotting up for a final
Well,
Has
this
to,
is
but-
interesting because it looks like Imogen Clark has ducked out of this second round. There's only 3 swimmers up there. That's Morgan, Hanlon and Evans.
Yep, so we'll only lose 1 here.
So unless she makes a late appearance, it does look like
Just
it's
chose
going
to
to be
withdraw.
3 going to 2. She was obviously just interested in that first round, getting that fast time. So 2 from University of Edinburgh, 1 from University of Stirling. And as you said, Jack, 2 will go through, 1 won't. That's a good start from Angharad Evans. Again, you can see that strengths of the longer distance, and that's also true, you would think, of Cara Hanlon. So these 2, and it's Anna Morgan who's in a bit of trouble here, as Evans and Hanlon. Pretty stroke for stroke. Looks like Cara Hanlon might just be, well, certainly up there. It's going to be tight. It is Evans takes the touch. Cara Hanlon just behind her, and Anna Morgan ducks out in 3rd spot. So it's going to be a Hanlon versus Evans final 2 for the women.
Yeah, and again, 31.5 and a 31.8, still really fast times. It's really respectable in their own right, even from a start, Duncan. So that's excellent swims. And Anna Morgan, 32.3, some really fast swimming. So looking forward to this final 50 here. I think Duncan with that 23.3. I think David's going to be stretched here. See if he can be challenged. I think Duncan, looking at his background in the 200 freestyle and the 200 IM yesterday, he's clearly on great form here. So I think it will come potentially in Duncan's favour. But again, don't discount David. He can be so electric, and I think he will push Duncan here a bit. Let's see what happens.
So they get ready to go. Scott, of course, with that 200 pedigree. You would think that will come to his aid here. Now off they go. Very quickly into his stroke, David Cumberledge. And he is right there with them. These 2 are taking this pretty seriously. They are side by side coming down the pool. Cumberledge in lane 5, but Scott maybe just ahead of him now. It's going to be Duncan Scott. He's pulling away now as we come into the last couple of meters. Duncan Scott is our freestyle skins champion. Another 23.53 this time. And a brilliant performance there. Cumberledge, well, he could be happy with his evidence. On the evidence of that swim from him as well, but Duncan Scott looks pretty pleased with that. So that's great to see, taking it seriously as a really good exercise. And he is our freestyle skins champion, our last skins of the evening. So the breaststroke, Angharad Evans of Stirling University, Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University. So they go in lanes 4 and 5 respectively. So Angharad Evans was in lane 4 all the way through. Cara switches from lane 3 into lane 5. It was pretty close in the second round between the 2 of them. They're both good across the breaststroke distances. So this could be a close one.
Yeah, well, Cara's just slightly off the mark when it comes to the start compared to Angharad Evans, but we'll see what happens here. It was a good reaction there from Cara. Again, just slightly behind off the start, although Angharad Evans got caught in the breakout a little bit there, and Carahan's a really electric swimmer, so I think it's all to play for here, Duncan, and they're really very much stroke for stroke. If anything, Cara is actually pulling through potentially a bit. Evans still a bit of a push at the end. It's going to be a close one into the final 15.
Yeah, looks like maybe Evans just has the edge now as they come underneath the flag. She's up by about half a metre, and it is going to be Angharad Evans. I think Cara realises the game is up, and Angharad Evans at a 31.4 is our female breaststroke skins winner.
Again, a 31.4. That was an excellent, again, would be an excellent first 50 in her own right from a start, and that's the 3rd that she's just done, so I think she'll be very happy with that. And again, it's a sign of potentially what's to come on the 200 tomorrow, Duncan.
Yeah, when you think she did a 31.0 in the heats this morning, so that was, of course, a rested time, right on the back of 2 other 50s, do a 31.4.
Exactly, that's a really strong performance. Again, just the depth across the breaststroke at the moment for Evans is really, really impressive. Got this twitch, got the back end. Yeah, well, we'll see what's on show tomorrow for those women in the 200. But now we move on to what was the splash and dash and into the 800 freestyle. So we saw the women earlier on in this event, and now we have the fastest heat of the men's today.
Yeah, this I think is going to be a good one as well. This men's 800 freestyle. And the lineup in this one. They're coming out now. So lane 1, Josh Denham of Newcastle. In lane 2, Jude Lydiard, Edinburgh University. Lane 3, Luke Hornsey of Edinburgh University. Lane 4, Luke Turley of University of Bath. Emile Vincent goes in lane 5 for Liga Verne. And lane 6, Cameron Travis, University of Aberdeen Performance. Dennis O'Brien, there he is in the yellow cap, going for Swim Ireland, and Ben McLaughlin. No, in fact, it's Ben in the yellow cap, the Geary swimmer from the northeast of Scotland, in Inverurie in Aberdeenshire. So Turley with a 7:52 entry time. I think there's the one who has got it all to prove.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is that Hornsey's been on great form. He had a really strong 1500 and 200 freestyle yesterday. What a brutal back-to-back that was, but
Yeah.
he produced a really strong personal best time in both, dipping into a 152 for the 200 and I think it was a 15.
Yes, doing that 200 was just amazing how he turned it on
Really
there.
closed,
And
yeah.
that should not have been possible.
No, well, but what I would say is he's more of a 400 specialist. I think there's a lot to be said here for the 800, and yeah, it might be a bit of a challenge for Luke Turley, who goes down as the fastest with a 7:52 entry time. The only athlete in the field to be that sub 8 minute mark with the World Championship 23rd position. And Bucks, he was 3rd recently. Again, just shows the caliber of the Bucks Championships. Again, we'll see what he can produce here.
So off we go. Also, we got Emile Vincent in lane 5. He was 3rd in the French Summer Championships, where he did his time of 8:06 back in the dizzy heights of summer of 2023. So leading the way is Luke Turley, with Hornsey in 2nd, Lydiard in 3rd in lane 2. He's off to a good start. We haven't talked about Jude Lydiard, but he is the Edinburgh University swimmer. That's also in the top 10 in British universities.
Yeah, and he's got Luke Turley that's, well, going out very strongly for the first 50. Again, sort of solidifying his position in this first 100. Really putting himself in a strong placing, with Luke Hornsey not too far behind. Again, he's still well within reach, with Jude Lydiard not too far behind again, respectively. So again, plenty still to come. Duncan, again, long event. We've got plenty hundreds still ahead. So again, just maybe getting some of the race nerves, those initial race nerves out of the way as they settle into their pacing, settle into their tactics.
Is that a thing for these swimmers at this level of experience? Have race nerves?
Well, I would say
obviously you could see it if you're in Paris for the Olympics or World Championships, but Edinburgh International, would you be nervous on that?
Well, nerves of anticipation, potentially excitement is a better way to say, but I think a lot of these athletes you do want to perform, and when it goes in that racing environment, the adrenaline is pumping, there's butterflies, there's that anticipation of wanting to do a good job and really maximise the opportunity. So I think there will be potentially a bit of that going on, but I'm sure they'll keep it well in control. But it's about capitalising those nerves, capitalising any sort of adrenaline and excitement, and making sure you funnel it and channel it in the right way towards your performance, and not let it take control of your pacing or your strategy. So as we see a bit of a stretch now coming away from Luke Turley and Luke Hornsey respectively, again setting into their stroke, nice long loping stroke from Turley. Hornsey more of a straight arm actually, particularly that right arm is a bit straighter, more of an untraditional style for the distance events, the straight arm stroke being more of a shorter distance. He's kind of halfway house between a bent arm and a straight arm actually. It's a wee bit more of an unorthodox style, but again it gets good reach, good distance, good range and rhythm with those strokes, and again breathing every 2, slightly higher rate compared to Luke. Luke's got more of that traditional loping style. Again, athletes going a little bit to their legs, not a huge amount at this stage. Again, just a bit of a 4-beat kick potentially, just to keep the body position high. Again, you really want to get away with kicking as little as possible, particularly saving your legs. But there's a bit of a push or an insertion of pace there from Turley. Just pulling away, is about half second quicker. to Hornsey respectively, so a bit of a move there. Hornsey was on the feet of Turley, but now Turley's just again gone to his legs a bit, so he's kind of stretching away now as we move into that 350 mark.
Yeah, Vincent now looking pretty secure in third place, and we wonder whether he can make any attack on Luke Hornsey. You can see he's pacing about 3/10 faster in that last 50, so keep an eye on lane 5 versus lane 3 as Luke Turley looking to just gradually build his lead. Next turn will be the halfway mark. It's going to be around the 4-minute mark.
Critically looking at the way they're breathing at the moment, they're all breathing to the right, being the dominant side, so on the way back Hornsey will have the advantage, breathing across the pool towards Turley and Vincent respectively. So there's a lot to be said for these final 50-metre tactics. Again, we've seen some storming final 50s this evening, Duncan, so I think if it comes down to a sprint finish, Hornsey could have that edge, but as it stands, it's a fairly comfortable first place as it stands for Turley. So again, he's just edging ahead. He was a 30.9, going to get back under the 31 point here in this split. Let's see what he's got on show. Just over it, so it's a 31.01, 31.43, and has Vincent again, so just basically the same. So look, Hornsey will be holding his position against Vincent.
Yep, 2 seconds in it, and well, still with 3:50 to go. 2 seconds is not a lot, so Vincent could come back at him.
If you look at the stroke styles there, Duncan, though, in particular Vincent, a lot more erratic actually. The Yuki's a bit more loping side to side, a bit more of a lateral energy that's going, a bit of wastage there, but Luke is a lot more sort of balanced. He's looking a lot more comfortable. Again, he's coached by Chris Jones from the University of Edinburgh, doing a great job with Luke. He's really come on leaps and bounds since he's been within the programme, and getting personal bests across the board, both long and short course. And Vincent, a bit of a younger athlete, potentially not got quite the experience, although Luke is actually a year younger, I should say. So again, it's just different styles of stroke. You just look at Vincent and you think that is his style, but it does look a bit more laboured, a bit more energy wasted potentially. Again, he's going from lane line to lane line. Maybe not necessary, better to keep on one side, and can you see just a bit more of an erratic style. But as it stands, Turley is really holding his position and looking quite comfortable at this stage, Duncan. Yeah,
he is firmly in control of this one, as we probably thought he would be. Is there an advantage where you swim in your lane, just if you plough down the middle? Obviously you don't want to circle around the lane because that just adds distance, but if you're up against a lane rope, or if you've got a tight competitor beside you, where do you want to be?
Exactly that. I mean, you look at Vincent. Vincent is going from side to side, which, you think about in 800 metres and the amount of turns, he's probably half a metre from side to side. He was on the opposite lane and now he's come to the other side. So it's, again, you'll be in training lanes, you will go from side to side. So again, your muscle memory and the approach, you might naturally go from side to side within a race. But what you would say is, you want to be in a lane line if you're in that head-to-head battle, because you're going to hook onto the wave of the athlete to your side. So, but what you also don't want to do is be on that lane line and let someone take advantage of your wave. So you see it more in the sprint events where, particularly in the 100 and the 200, athletes will hook onto that wave and they'll see that tactic of moving across the lane line in relay events in particular. Across the distance events, there's a lot less to be said. I think it's more of a tactical thing if you're in reach of someone. So again, we'll see. But you see Vincent, again, he's on the opposite side of the lane again there, Duncan. So it's again maybe a bit of a tactical one for his coaches to look at. But
so let's talk about Luke. Yeah, let's talk about Luke Turley, because he is clearly going to win this one. He's 5 seconds up as they go into the final 100, and he'll be looking for a big year here. We've got some swimmers are sort of on the cusp in the distance events. It's been a little bit weak after Daniel Jervis in Britain for a while, and so there's a number of swimmers, Luke Turley definitely one of them, who'll be wanting to open up and stake their claim to be a top British distance freestyler.
Yeah, well, he made the World Championships last year, and I think he'll be trying to back that up with an Olympics if he can. If he can get down into his 750 range or below, that would be great performance at the trials. Here, if he can again just back up a solid performance, I think he's going to be challenging for a kind of 8:05 mark, maybe an 8:10 potentially here. Again, he's holding a decent position. I think it's a good performance overall. I think he'll be happy with that moving towards trials. He comes in the 8:05 mark indeed, so it's right on the around is not too far away from his best, and
Hornsey will be happy with that. 8:10.22. That's another personal best for him. 8:12 his entry time.
3 for 3.
Yep, that's brilliant stuff across the range of freestyles. 2, 8, 15, and we've got 400 tomorrow, I guess.
Yep.
Emil 8:15.07. So that's around 9 seconds away from his best time from last year. He takes third, Travis fourth, Lydiard fifth, Brian Denham and McLaughlin completing the event. 3 more races to go tonight, and they're going to be good ones. It's female 200 freestyles. We just see that confirmed. So 8:05.81. Turley, Hornsey, and Vincent Yo 1, 2, 3. All faster than we saw in the earlier heats. So female 200 freestyle, there's your junior lineup. Catherine Renfrew for Perth City in lane 1. Alexandra Bullock of City of Lincoln Pentaqua in lane 2. Phoebe Arbuckle goes in lane 3 for Warrender. Saw her in the 800 earlier. Elizabeth Land of Newcastle in 4. I think she was in it as well, wasn't she? Falca Tind of Hovis Satins as well. Libby Freeman, Sarah Kravis after that blinding 53 we saw at the back end of the 400 IM. The quick return for her in lane 7. And Anna Tyers for Derby XL in lane 8. 2:06 up to 2:09 the times here.
Yeah, really quick start there from Alexandra in lane 2. Quick off the blocks. That's a sort of more untraditional standing tall there, Duncan, almost like the Ben Proud-esque, you know, taking full advantage of those last moments. So
yes, we were talking about that before we came on air, weren't we?
Yeah,
so
we were.
Talk about that, the tactics on the blocks as to when to go down into the crouch.
yeah, well, we saw Phoebe Arbuckle and Alexandra there, Bullet, doing exactly that, standing tall right before the end. So it's keeping the tension. So if you can stand up straight and then go down just before the starter's gun, you're sort of reserving energy and you're not holding the tension in that crouch position the other athletes will. But it's high risk, high reward, because it sometimes can result in a DQ if you're not careful. And again, it's as we move forward, they've taken advantage of that, as has lane 2, still in good contention, I think, but it's coming through in the middle lanes now, as you might expect.
Yep, Falkatind in 4, Elizabeth Land in 4, Falkatind in 5, just 500ths apart. 1:01.18 against 1:01.23. So this is a good one. Others pretty close as well. Lane 2, Alexandra Bullock. She had the early lead. She's still in the frame. And others as well. The red caps, Catherine Renfrew in 1, Phoebe Arbuckle in 3. Also up in lane 6, Libby Freeman, another red cap of Morpeth. So all those swimmers, watch out maybe for Sarah Kravis. She's in 8th here. Can she do a fantastic finish? Well, who knows? I don't think so this time. Maybe feeling that from earlier, but it's going to be really close here. Lanes 4, 5 and 6 and 8 all up there with 15 to go. Let's see who's going to get this one. Lane 6 is looking good. Is it going to be Libby Freeman? Is it lane 8? Whoa, it is lane 8. Anna Tyers, the outside lane swimmer, gets the win. Wow. 2:06.09, 3.5 seconds faster than she was earlier.
Storming final 50 there.
Libby Freeman just behind her. And Elizabeth Land by 500ths takes third. Good tight one here. On to the B final. There's your lineup. Olivia Butler of Edinburgh University in 1, Silke Holkenborg of the Netherlands in 2, Valentine Leclerc of Ligue of Verne in 3, Angelina Roman of the Netherlands in 4, Yara Kalmthout of the Netherlands in 5, Maylene Bessard of Ligue of Verne in 6, Grace Davison, Swim Ireland in 7, and Amy Monks of Swansea University in lane 8. So Valentine Leclerc won the 800, and here she is now in the B final of the 200. So she's giving herself a tough task here.
Yeah, she is indeed. I mean, she's capable of a 2:01 from her entry time, so potentially a bit to drop here, Duncan, but we'll see again the toll it takes with multiple events in a session. But I think with her background in the distance, she might be okay, I think, but we'll see how it pans out.
So off they go. Lane 4 is Angelina Rolman from the Netherlands. She's maybe just edging it at the moment. Good start as well from her teammate Silke Hulkenborg in lane 2. So the Netherlands up there strongly. Lane 8, well, that was the hot lane in the last heat. Amy Monks leads the way, in fact. The Swansea University swimmer. A lot of the Welsh are off in America at the moment, so Amy has come up to Scotland, and she is putting in a good performance there from the outside lane.
Yeah, she was strong first 50, but I think again with the 200 you'll see some of the athletes pulling through, and again the middle of the field is actually challenging out. It's going to be still Amy Monks. No, it was a good rotation, but Angela Rolman's had a really strong 50, as has Silke Hulkenborg with a 30.9 and Malin Bezard with a 30.8. So again, you see some of the players making a move here, but it's fairly flat across the field. Again, all to play for as they transition across into this final 50, Duncan.
Yeah, the Dutch are looking strong though. Lane 4, Rolman. Lane 2, Hulkenborg. I think are going to be 1 and 2 with Kalmthout as well. So it's a Netherlands 1, 2, 3 as we come down the final length. Angelina Rolman leads them through by half a second from lane 4. So she was the fastest into this B final. Will she be the fastest after we're done? Well, Yara Kalmthout is right on her case there in lane 5. It looks like it's these two are going to decide it. Still just lane 4 Rolman, I think, and I think she has the pace to take it into the wall and takes the win in 2:01.87. Takes about 7/10 off her time from the heats.
Big drop from her entry time as well. Looking at a 2:02.57 entry, so can maybe safely assume that's a personal best, or at the very least a season's best. So great performance there from Rolman, and now we move on to the final, super final of the evening, the women's 200 freestyle.
This is going to be a good one, so do not go anywhere for the next 2 minutes. They'll be coming on to the poolside now, and here we are with Victoria Catherson of Swim Ireland going into lane 1. Blair Schlossen, City of Leeds, to lane 2. Lucy Hope will go to lane 3, representing University of Stirling. Abby Wood, Loughborough Performance Centre, the fastest qualifier into lane 4. The Welsh swimmer Medi Harris from Loughborough Performance into lane 5. Here is Katie Shanahan of Stirling University in 6. Georgina Pryor from Derby Excel in 7. And Jemima Hall from University of Bath in lane 8. So remember, we had a silver medal in the 4x2 in Doha, and we've got 3 of them here. Lucy Hope, Abby Wood, Medi Harris were all part of that 4x2 team. So now they go up against each other. Abby Wood, the only one to go under 2 minutes this morning. So perhaps she is the favourite here. That was a pretty respectable 1:58.42 this morning.
Yeah, it was indeed. It was a really strong swim. It was great to see Abby back on form, in really good form. Getting challenging down to some of her best times. A 1:57.2. I believe is her best. Again, she's a really strong all-round swimmer. 200 freestyle being a staple in her calendar in that relay for the 4x2 women. And let's see if she can back up another strong performance and see if any of the other athletes can challenge for that sub 2 minute barrier.
The local crowd will be backing Lucy Hope. Lane 3 did her youth training in the Borders. Swam in Edinburgh plenty of times, but been in Stirling for the last couple of years. And she is pushing on well in lane 3 alongside Abby Wood in lane 4. Loughborough swimmer, excellent on 200 freestyle, also a brilliant IM swimmer and breaststroker, has all the all-round skills. But well, lane 6 also going well. That's Katie Shanahan, 28.17. Maybe she was saving herself in that 400 IM for this one to try and make a statement in the freestyle. Abby Wood, though, looking like she's just going to make her move now down this second 50. So it's Shanahan in 6, Wood in 4. Hope in 3. They're leading 3, all in black caps, 2 from Stirling, 1 from Loughborough. Still Shannon leads the way through the turn, 58.19. Pretty much bang on the 30 seconds there. Wood 900ths behind, Hope in 3rd, Harris in 4th. She's not out of it in the red cap in lane 5. How do you see this going now, Jack?
Oh, it's really tightening up here, Duncan. It's a great sort of flat 1, 2, 3, 4 there. I think, Wood's looking towards Lucy, and Lucy potentially breathing towards Wood in the way home. So that Medi Harris making a great move in this third 50. It's going to come down to this final 50. It's going to be a real push and see if these athletes can challenge well into that sub 2 minutes. Abby Wood had a brilliant turn there. Real injection of speed. The rate's gone through the roof. And look at the leg kick. Abby Wood, brilliant turn there, as did Medi Harris. Lucy Hope potentially being left behind a little bit here. It's Abby Wood, Medi Harris, Lucy Hope respectively, 1, 2, 3 as it stands. Abby Wood pushing hard into the final 15.
Yeah, so it's 10 to go. It's looking like Abby Wood will take the win here, but Medi Harris is pushing her hard, but she takes it in 1:58.17, just outside the meet record, which is shared by Jazz Carlin and Freya Anderson. So that was a very respectable time there. Less than a second away from her best time from last year. So brilliant stuff there. Medi Harris, a 1:58.63. I think she'll be pretty happy with that. She came in on a 1:58.59, so just 400ths away from that.
Yeah.
And a good swim from Lucy Hope as well.
Yeah, Medi Harris had a brilliant third 50. She just really stormed through, paced it perfectly. But coming off that wall, Abby Wood showing her class. It was a phenomenal turn, great underwaters, built the momentum and kind of held it all the way through. Looked very comfortable in the end there. They all looked very kind of out of breath there, Duncan. I don't think I'd be feeling the same after 200, but there you go. It's probably more of a me problem.
I think we're out of breath here in the commentary position after a very exciting day 2. We hope you enjoyed it. As you saw on the screen just now, we'll be back on air tomorrow morning, 8:25 for an 8:30 start. So we're looking for more exciting swims tomorrow. But from myself, Duncan McKinnell, and from Jack Thorpe, we wish you a good evening from the Royal Commonwealth Pool in Edinburgh.